longer straight here at Geelong. Hopefully it'll suit him better.
Okay, draw 2. You'll be able to find some sort of posse. The last couple of races they've been winning up on the pace there somewhere.
Yes, there's quite a bit of pace in the field, and go from there. Yeah.
In that previous race, you were going to ride Littlewood Lane. It was
Holden Geelong Cup, $120,000. It's a Group 3 race now, and they're getting set well. Here's Free Gold coming in next to Laveneur. Don Archer's ready. That Treasure jumped okay towards the inside. Rum a little slow. Requiem got out quickly. In the early stages, Media Puzzle is letting a few around him go forward as Oliver tries to find a position. Laveneur's going forward with Lytiema from outside barriers. They're going to settle 1-2. Southern Crown not far off them, but Laveneur at his favoured role went down to the judge, led by 2. Laveneur from Lytiema, Requiem, Free Gold, National Treasure the inside 1, Bondi Iceberg, and then Glow Baby. They're followed by Cavello Bruno round the outside, going forward now from West. Climbing up the hill at the back, and Laveneur's lead about 6 or 7. Lytiema second, Free Gold 3 lengths away third, followed by Southern Crown, a length into Requiem, Media Puzzle, next Don Arch and Piace, 2 lengths National Treasure, about 15 from the leader, then Forlorna, Cavello Bruno, Bondi Iceberg, Glow Baby, Rum, and well back as Old Tawny as they come to the corner from West Highland Way and Cyclades. Laveneur now putting up the white flag at the turn, about to be claimed by Lytiema and Requiem. Free Gold behind them from Southern Crown, and Don Arch getting up on the inside. Media Puzzle's coming home strongly. He's joining the leaders around the home turn, and the Irish Galloper takes the lead. Media Puzzle for home from Requiem, Piace, Southern Crown, and then Forlorna the outside, and Cavello Bruno, but passing the 200 metres. And this is racing clear for Damien Oliver. Media Puzzle for Dermot Weld now by 3, and he's coming away. He's racing away, Media Puzzle. He wins the Geelong Cup by 3 lengths. An impressive win over Requiem. Don Arch third, then Southern Crown, Piace, followed by Old Tawny, Cyclades, Rum. Towards the tail of the field there, of course, was Laveneur, who led them up before tiring badly, and Free Gold. That is a win and a half. Media Puzzle races into the Melbourne Cup now. Well, I think he needs a penalty to make it, but that was a stunning victory, and more than deserves a little extra weight, one would think. He settled midfield, he claimed them at the turn, and he came away in a fast run Geelong Cup to win like a very, very good racehorse.
Just literally got off the phone. Well, we spoke to you before the race. You probably thought he'd settle back a bit, but Damien pressed forward off the wide barrier, but really he got the soft run down the back straight.
Well, I said to Damien, you know, we had our ideas, but at the end of the day, he's a true professional, and we left it up to him, and, you know, he did a masterful job.
Well, he dashed away, didn't he? I mean, in the end, you blitzed him.
To the Melbourne Cup now. He certainly deserves to on that performance.
Well, Jim Bowler, the racing Victoria VRC handicapper. Is Vinnie Rowe going as good as him?
You know, they're 2 very nice horses. Vinnie has an impossible task with the weight he has, I'm afraid. He's really up against it, and people should bear that in mind. But this horse could be the surprise package.
D. Oliver, I reckon, going to be pretty happy to stay on, too.
I really hope he does. I really hope he does, and I hope he can do.
Yes, just got off the phone, Matt, with Jim Bowler, Racing Victoria chief handicapper, and the penalty is 1.5 kilograms, and the horse will now carry 52.5 in the Melbourne Cup if it gets there. At the moment, it's now jumped the Melbourne Cup if it gets there. At the moment, it's now jumped up to 30 in the order of entry. Of course, they run...
...has unveiled his second Melbourne Cup contender, with Media Puzzle streeting the field in today's Geelong Cup. The 6-year-old was immediately penalised 1.5 kilos, with bookmakers slashing his quote from $34 to $11. Jared...
Well, he instantly committed to Media Puzzle for the Melbourne Cup, and it will be hard to see our locals getting anywhere near these European horses if Media Puzzle is just the second string.
Down towards both the Victoria Derby and the Oaks. Helenas rates ahead of Victory Vane, Macedon Lady and Shelang. 1, 6, 7 and number 8. First of the runners begins to arrive in the mounting yard. Helenas on course is the favourite, but longer odds than that.
Brendan, the favourite, is the first to go in, Helenas. He's trying for a treble that's never been achieved before the start, but she jumped all right. Helenas threw his head in the air. He's going to settle back and find somewhere. Grand Lover is the first out from Wild Heart. Helena's just inside them. There's no pace at all. Then Macedon Lady on the inside of Victory Vane. Shillang's on the fence. Serpentire's last. Now, he's getting his head up pretty badly as they turn out of the straight there. Helenas and Wild Heart ran a bit wide. Grand Lover up the side by 2 lengths. Grand Lover ahead of Wild Heart and Victory Vane the outside. Helenas fourth on the inside. A length and a half Serpentire. Macedon Lady still following Helenas. And last is Shillang. Grand Lover the leader from Wild Heart. Helenas is running up behind the leader who's just left the fence, and the run for the favourite on the inside. Coming to the turn now, and Helenas takes the lead. Wild Heart tries to go with him. Victory Vane's come wide. Macedon Lady is still stalking Helenas, following him everywhere. Helenas leads. Macedon Lady gets over his heels to issue a threat now. They're going to fight it out. Helenas in front. Macedon Lady, the fillies throwing out the challenge. Helenas responds. He's 3/4. Macedon Lady tries hard. Helenas sticks his head out. A good colt. Helenas beat Macedon Lady by about 3/4 of a length. 5 lengths. Wild Heart might grab third from Serpentire Shillang. Break to Victory Vane. She's finished back in the ruck with Grand Lover.
And a half in front of Wild Heart. Helenas is going to straighten and kick by 2. Macedon Lady into the clear. They're clear of Wild Heart. It's the colt and the filly drawing away. It's Helenas a half in front. Macedon Lady trying to peg it back. Helenas the leader. Macedon Lady trying to reach Helenas. Helenas is too good. And the colt Helenas wins on the line. About a half length Macedon Lady. A great battle. They got about 5 lengths in front of Wild Heart.
True stayers, the ones that can really get to the line, gap the others. The first 2 over the line were well ahead of Wild Heart. You couldn't see any of those. Syncratic, like a lot of good horses. He throws his head up in the air, doesn't pull, doesn't really fight the rider. He just gets his head up, and that's why they've got a nose roll on him, because when he gets his head up, he can't see. So he puts it back down again. But I tell you what, he raced like a true stayer, and I was very impressed with the filly Macedon Lady. She's right in there for the Oaks as well. They spaced the rest of the field. They were the 2 quality horses. By the way, she must be a little cantankerous too, because she had a big piece off her hip in the mounting yard, which probably happened in a flood there. Yeah. Damien Oliver looked at the film there, but didn't think there was enough grounds for protest.
Victory Vane yesterday, very disappointing. She now heads to the spelling paddock.
Yeah, she's deserved a spell. She was cruising in the run. Very hard to peak a horse up for 2 carnivals. Very hard to do. Maybe the Derby and the Oaks winner there. I had to laugh at Stephen King on the turn. He had a big look. Yes, he did. He says, I got me Derby horse travelling right. Where's me Oaks filly? And she was right on his back.
I don't think... yeah, it's true. I don't think she...
Ratings with Spinning Hill ahead of Falvalon, Mystique and Century Kid. 7, 1, 2 and 3. On course, Falvalon's the favourite ahead of Spinning Hill. But it's massive unders on the tote on Super Tab. They're betting well into the black Falvalon. And on course, Spinning Hill very...
Just a 6 to go around with Wendigo out, but it's a really high quality field we're looking at here. It's Mystique on screen at the moment. He is the easing 3rd elect in the race. Falvalon the favourite. He won the race 2 years ago. Mystique here. He's 2 years ago. Mystique here. Spinning Hill is the horse who's going to run 2nd pick in the race. Frankie Dettori. He's won victory in some 8 or 9 visits to Australia. Inside, Spinning Hill jumped well, got a head up, and Frankie just eased her right back to the tail. Mystique led Falvalon, Century Kid the outside. 2 lengths to Bomber Bill, and then Phoenix Park, and a length and a half to Spinning Hill. Mystique in front, Century Kid up the outside, and Falvalon the centre 3rd. 2.5 lengths away, then Phoenix Park on the inside of Bomber Bill, and a length to Spinning Hill, 6 off the leader. Through the gap, Century Kid outside Mystique. Falvalon had the beautiful drop on them. Phoenix Park on the inside, then Bomber Bill and 2 Spinning Hill. She spots the leader 7 coming to the turn. Mystique just in front from Century Kid. Oliver's pulled out on Falvalon. Phoenix Park right behind them from Bomber Bill and Spinning Hill. They corner. Mystique led narrowly from Century Kid. Falvalon. Spinning Hill eases out. She's coming now. It's on the outside. Spinning Hill trying to get to Mystique. Falvalon the centre. Spinning Hill's winding up for Frankie. She's come from last and wins. Spinning Hill and a beauty. Great vote of the miners on the Bomber Bill Mystique. Close up as Century Kid. Falvalon had the gun run, but he couldn't finish it off. Phoenix Park last in.
Mystique just led Century Kid. Peeling out 3 wide now, a length further back, Phoenix Park. Spinning Hill and Bomber Bill are out late. It's Mystique tackled by Falvalon, Century Kid, and Spinning Hill with a big run coming down the outside. Spinning Hill has raced up now. She got a bit tight on them, but Spinning Hill from the back, she's done it again. Spinning Hill a half length, a great go for the miners. Bomber Bill, Mystique and close up Century Kid, and Falvalon and Phoenix Park. The race.
Yeah, she's a wonderful mare, and she got such a terrific finish. She's just got better with age. I was a little concerned to see her try.
She's had 3 runs at the 1,000 metres now, and she's won all 3 of them. She is a super sprinting mare. She, I think, goes down now for me as the best sprinting mare I've seen, and perhaps the best of all times.
Okay, that's a good wrap. 7-4-2. Now, fourth has gone the way. Okay, as we await the return of Spinning Hill and Franco Dettori, world-acclaimed rider, face in racing in the Group 2 winner's circle. Hey, and there goes the big star jump. Didn't the crowd love that?
Well, it's great. I love Australia, and I always look forward to come here. And a few friends will show me a lot of tapes last night, and they told me she had a great turn of foot, and she took me by surprise. She showed the electric turn of foot, and it's a sort of horse that I would like to ride again.
And what about the Luna? Fabulous sprinter. I think she's probably the best sprinting mare I've seen. She's up there with Special, maybe even better than Special. A record at 1,000 metres is great too. 3 tries out at 3 wins. I was a little disappointed with Falvalon. I thought he had the great run, but he did pull up with a bit of a problem. Damien Oliver and his trainer, Danny Begor, said he didn't feel quite right after the race. And old Bomber Bill there, what a return to form that was.
Yeah, 960,000. He might even beat Lazagoletta to the million.
He might.
The margins in that were 3/4 of a length, short head, nose.
I think the key with Spinning Hill now is Guy Walters worked her out. He's training her like a sprinter, and she's reacted to it. I think he tried to stretch her out for the better Group 1 mares race last preparation, but he's really worked her out now. She's a fabulous sprinting mare.
That was for Frankie Dettori, only a second win in Australia.
The latest in betting news, it's the very smart Kiwi stayer, Victory Smile, ahead of Hey Pronto, and then Rain Gauge and County Tyrone, 2, 7, and then 6 and 9. On course, well, it's Rain Gauge, clear-cut on-course favourite. Equal second elects on course are County Tyrone and Thong Classic, which is big unders on the tote. And outside of those, Victory Smile, which is at big odds. And as we await the sign of runners to arrive in the mounting yard, the first of them have arrived in the mounting yard.
And through the main gate, they come. Watching Sky in Melbourne, there's a shot of the crowd in the front lawn, but I can tell you the people coming in through the main admission gates, that's as far as they're getting, Brendan. It's got to be clearly more than 40,000.
They should put them out in the centre like they used to in the old days. They've had 50,000 on this course.
There's another great shot.
First run way back in 1883, but the most recent horses to complete the double are Kingston Rule in 1990 and Wardella in 1953 to win here and then go to the Melbourne Cup, so it hasn't been the best of lead-up races. And they've jumped well. Thong Classic first out with Balonic. Pantani jumped well. Big Pat has showed pace today. In the early stages, Rain Gauge drifting right back and he's 4th last. Up towards the turn, and Balonic is the leader. Pantani goes to second, the outside of Sandmason. Then came Thong Classic, beautifully placed in 4th. On his inside, Victory Smile, not too far away, the Metrop winner. Big Pat wide around the A train, and they're followed by Home Wrecker. Next, Fire Tane in the bright about to go, running to the 800 turn, and Mr. Prudent around that bend now, and it's Big Pat the leader. Big Pat in front of the A train, and Maguire came with a rush on the outside and joined them. 2 lengths away, Thong Classic around Pantani. Balonic held up on the inside. Danyon and County Tyrone are charging from the rear, and Home Wrecker's working home. They've passed the school, nearing the turn now, and right across the track with Thong Classic and Maguire hitting the lead together. Rain Gauge is stalking them and coming home, and then County Tyrone and Danyon off the track, and Home Wrecker's working into it. Thong Classic the leader from Maguire. Rain Gauge, Home Wrecker needing it out as they cornered. Rain Gauge raced up to Thong Classic and took the lead. Home Wrecker's got clear, and then Maguire. Rain Gauge, Thong Classic kicking back, and then Home Wrecker. Thong Classic, Rain Gauge. Thong Classic has the head in front. They drive to the line. Thong Classic wins it from Rain Gauge. He's drifted out in front of the second horse though. Third now, we've got Mr. Prudent, Sandmason. Home Wrecker's up there, not sure about it. Maguire's with them too. Then Hey Pronto, Pantani, Danyon and County Tyrone. Fire Tane, trailed by Balonic.
Rain Gauge is after at the 200, 2 further back Danyon. It's Rain Gauge going out after Thong Classic. Thong Classic and Rain Gauge, and Home Wrecker with a late run. Thong Classic the inside and Rain Gauge. Thong Classic fighting back. He's got his nose in front of Rain Gauge and Thong Classic. A neck to Rain Gauge. 3 away third. Sandmason may grab it. Out wide Mr. Prudent, followed by Maguire. Just behind those, Home Wrecker from Danyon.
Bit of a problem with him. He's been getting to the front, and He's just been waiting for other horses, but Des Gleeson allowed me to make a couple of little changes with the gear, and it's worked well.
So that was the ultimate.
Run a very good fourth. He has run a good fourth because he was full of running. Here comes the head-on.
So George has finished second and third, and fourth is not away.
He's going to be very competitive. Put my name in a hat.
Don't know that he's going to get a run in the Melbourne Cup Thorn Classic. There's some doubt about whether he'll actually make the field. He couldn't get a penalty for that race yesterday. The Moonee Valley Cup does not carry penalty for the Melbourne Cup, so he can get penalised into the field. But and the Moonee Valley Cup winner hasn't always had the greatest record in the Melbourne Cup, but the place getters have. The horses that finished second and third, and you had to be impressed with Rain Gauge, who finished second. A great run. He's peaking at the right time. Thorn Classic, can't take anything away from the winner. Consistent form. He does move out pretty sharply in the straight here and contacts Rain Gauge a couple of times, and there was a protest about that, and it went for quite some time. I thought it'd be touch and go, this one, but in the end, the stewards didn't think it cost Rain Gauge the win, and I don't think George Hanlon, who trains Rain Gauge, was too upset about it anyway. Keith, what did you make of the runs?
Right, Sunline will start favourite to win her third Cox Plate in her farewell run tomorrow. And the world's best jockey, Frankie Dettori, fears punters may have got it right, believing it will be almost impossible to catch the mighty mare if she can steal a break before the home turn.
The men are he's still a roughie though. Sunline more than the sentimental favourite. $3.25 in Michael Iskander's markets. Lonhro well back today at $3.50, while the defending champion Northerly is $4.
Sunline is the people's horse, and she's earned that recognition. And Northerly, he's halfway there, but he hasn't reached the dizzy heights that she has.
With most of Australasia hoping for the fairy tale ending for Sunline, Dettori summed up the task ahead.
With Sunline in the race, it looks pretty straightforward. It's going to try to catch her.
She's well liked and loved by everybody in Australasia, actually. Yes, New Zealanders are right behind her as well. And it's one of those things where we thought, well, the likes of the Valley would probably be a good swan song for her.
Gerard Waitley.
To expect while working alongside stablemate Atlantis Prince.
You know, you never know what kind of cards he's going to deal you until you get to the races. But that's Grandera for you, you know, but he's a true champion, and champions are different, and he's, for sure, is different.
You could say that he's pretty good.
He's been more than pretty good this year, winning 3 Group 1 races in 3 different countries, starting in May with the Singapore Gold Cup.
Grandera races to the lead. Frankie Dettori's going to do it again, and Grandera wins the Singapore Airlines International Cup.
The Godolphin stable is confident the tight Moonee Valley track won't present a problem on the weekend.
Today, when he rides Sunline, what an emotional moment it's going to be for him.
Sunline in front, Tiger Knight ducks in, and New Zealand takes the Cox Plate with Sunline.
She's a great, outstanding individual. She just carries her head high. She walks around like she owns the place. In the race, she dominates. My kids, they go to school. They tell their teacher and their friends that their dad rides the best horse in the world. And my wife, you know, we all go shopping, and for sure she buys things for the house that we wouldn't be buying if I wasn't riding Sunline. I like to think that my name will always be associated with Sunline and until the day we die. When Sunline retires, it will be a sad day. She's been great to me. I even cried then. The work that you do all your life to get to ride great horses or get to win big races, it's not only me, it's family too. It's just coming up from a young age, learning to ride, and your mum and dad teaching you to ride. We come from a small country town, and Sunline's, you know, as compared to Far Lap, you get a lot of letters, a lot of people, a lot of kids, you know, letters, photos, they want you to sign. And that's great because I want Sunline to live forever and ever. And those young ones, those young children who have the signatures or the memorabilia can say to their children that Sunline, they seen her race and she was a great horse.
This This is awesome. Back to back. It's all over for Sunline. Look at her go. Down the straight. 8 lengths in front of Referral and Diatribe. She might be the greatest in the world, Sunline. She streaks home in the Cox Plate.
It's a following that's been going on for 4 years. It's been growing, but it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end.
The final chapter today, live pictures of Sunline with Claire Bird, her strapper. She does lick her boots. It's an amazing relationship between the two of them, and what a remarkable response from Greg Childs in that interview. Yeah, well, she is the type of horse. She's a champion mare and one that would make a strong man cry. But by this mare, Sunline, who is the greatest stakes winner in Australasian history by a long way. You can see where Northerly's in 4th spot. Today's first prize, $2 million. Sunline with 11.1, Northerly at 5.8 closing. Assertive Lad, interestingly enough.
Then number 3, and Lonhro is equal 4th rated, Richard.
How do you rate anything above Northerly and Sunline? That's what's got me beat. But I know they do it on weights and measures and his weight advantage and the times he's been running out up to that. But, gee, when you get in the ring with Sunline and Northerly, all that goes out the window. I just wonder if he's tough enough. He's certainly talented enough, Bella Spree, but is he tough enough?
Gee, there's some at some good value. Defier, Fields of Omar, both outstanding horses.
They're all outstanding horses. You don't get a run in a Cox Plate unless you're an outstanding horse, so it's probably horses win this race. The punters usually pick which one will win. Favourites, I think, have a pretty good record in Cox Plates. Well and healthy, she may have improved a touch. Grandira looks beautiful, but he's in some sort of mood. He nearly took out a photographer in the ring, went within a bee's digit of taking her head off, and that was very close. And he was lining a few...
Well done, Fred. Good luck.
Thank you.
And the roar there for the champion mare, Brendan, a great roar. Hopefully she doesn't get too excited because they wanted to do it before the race, just in case she got beaten. Richard, special moment.
It is a great moment. It's one of the moments you want to be on a race course. Right now, as Sunline tries to take control of Claire Bird, she really wants to get going.
The best go at longer odds is clearly Bella Spree on track in some 3 points and remains very good value on the tote. Northerly's the favourite ahead of Lonhro, Sunline, and then we go to Grandira and Defier as the next best.
Brendan, we can hardly hear each other out here. The crowd is that noisy. They're just in anticipation of this race, and they're playing some replays of the great old...
There have been some great horses, there has been some great memories, but they're saying this is the race of the century, the race which brings the best from the Northern Hemisphere. Our greatest ever mare, our greatest middle distance star Northerly, and 2 up-and-comers, Lonhro and Defier, and that plucky young 3-year-old Bella Spree. Will he upstage them?
Racing, the last chapter unfolds. Sunline, one of the first out. Northerly got away quickly and immediately strides up to her outside, and he went back on Assertive Lad. Bella Spree third the inside down to the post. The Sunline does it easily. Defier is 4th. Ustinov the inside, then Grandira, Fields of Omar, followed by Lonhro and 2.5 Assertive Lad. Sunline out of the straight, and she's coasted through the first part. Bella Spree is following her. Northerly is 3rd. 2 lengths further back, Defier. Outside Ustinov to Grandira. Then Fields of Omar, followed by Lonhro, and last of all Assertive Lad. Well, it's going to script so far. Lonhro controls the early part of the Cox Plate, leads by 1.5 lengths. In second placing, Northerly. On the rails, 3rd is Bella Spree. Defier is 4th with cover. Ustinov the rail, and then Grandira. 2 lengths Fields of Omar, and Lonhro back second last with Assertive Lad. Sunline now starting to wind it up a bit. Into the back she goes. She leads by 2.5, chasing a 3rd Cox Plate. In second placing, Northerly. 2 Bella Spree. 2 further back is Defier, and then Grandira outside Ustinov. 3 lengths Fields of Omar. Lonhro gives the great mare at least 12 lengths at the 800, and Assertive Lad is last of all. Off the back at the 800 metres. It's Sunline in front now. Up the side. Can she deliver the fairy tale finish? Moonee Valley is willing her home. She leads by 2, but the great Tigers coming after a Northerly, and they've got 3 lengths to fire. Bella Spree, Grandira asked to go, and then Fields of Omar, followed by Ustinov, and Lonhro's giving them a long start. Sunline is the leader. The Fighting Tigers after a Northerly. He trails by a length coming around around the home turn. This is going to be special. Into the straight now, and it's Sunline from Northerly, then Defire. Grandier is easing out for the run. Northerly went up to the great mare. Sunline fights back as she always does. Northerly put the head in front though. He's raced about a length and a half now. Here comes Defire Grandier, but Northerly is clear, and the Fighting Tiger Northerly does it again, beats Defire Grandier. Fourth goes to Sunline. The Queen abdicates, but does it with class. She's followed in by Fields of Omar. Lonro was run off his legs. Next is Ustinov, and to the tail is Assertive Lad and the 3-year-old Bella Spree.
She kicks off the turn at the 800-metre mark, the great mare Sunline. One more time by 2 lengths to Northerly, 4 lengths for the back, Bella Spree to fire. A length and a half, Grandira from Ustinov, a length for the back, Fields of Omar. 2 to Lonro and 3 for the back, Assertive Lad. At the 600-metre mark, Sunline a length in front. Northerly a second, 2 lengths for the back to fire. Then Bella Spree a length in Grandira, Tilda Fields of Omar, Ustinov and Lonro. She's got a kick though on the turn. It's Sunline a length in front of Lonro. 2 lengths to fire. Further back then Grandira. Lonro with a long run, followed by Bella Spree and Fields of Omar. Northerly going up to Sunline. They turn for home. The great Western Australian Northerly's got his head in front of Sunline. 2 to Defire and then Grandira. Northerly's clear at the 100-metre mark. Defire after Northerly. Northerly's going to do it back to back. Northerly takes the Cox Plate a length on the line. Defire. A neck away third. Grandira. Sunline magnificent fourth. Further back then Fields of Omar fifth from Lonro. A gap in the race further back to Ustinov. And just coming home Assertive Lad and Bella Spree.
He's done it again. Defied it, hasn't he, to win a Caulfield Cup and a Cox Plate in the 1 year. He joins Tobin Bronze, Rising Fast and Tranquil Star as the only horses to come from a Caulfield Cup victory and to have won a Cox Plate in the 1 year. So Northerly wins his second Cox Plate.
Should he be in the Melbourne Cup? Because despite 60 kilos, that was a magnificent performance. And Australia deserves a horse like that in the Melbourne Cup.
What a ride. First ride on the horse for Pat Payne. First ride back from suspension.
Had to make some decisions and did everything.
The highest level. Fantastic, fantastic. I wish everyone could feel as great as what I'm feeling at some stage of life as I'm feeling now. Patrick early in the day, Spinning Hill won, and everyone said, gee, Patrick could be disappointed, but I think this makes up for it. I was happy to see her win. She's a great mare. It was my decision not to ride her, so I was cheering her home, but I'm not too worried about her now. Now, Patrick, take us through the race. You had a lovely run. When did you get right into it? I was happy with the run that I had, and I was happy when I just wanted him to improve. I knew he was going to improve well, and what a great horse. It was actually a lot easier than what I thought it would be. In a Cox Plate, it was easy. What a statement, Patrick.
To do back-to-back, he joins the champions today.
It's a great day for West Australia, and for me, I'm so proud for the horse. I think he proved his greatness. He's a great horse.
The build-up was so intense throughout the week, and the race lived up to it.
Sure it did. It was a great and honest race. You know, it's how I like to see a race run through. What can I say? Words fail me. This horse he's made us all so proud. And I just feel like a very humble little West Australian boy. So proud of his horse, and I hope it does something for the West.
He had a lovely camp on the mare.
He is very, very close to it.
Moonee Valley, he's unbeaten. He's had 7 starts over this distance for 5 wins and 2 placings. This year, he's won the Craigley, the Underwood, the Turnbull and the Caulfield Cup. The Cox Plate, well, he joins Farlap, Chatham, Young Idea, Boveet, Tranquil Star, Flight, Hydrogen, Tobin Bronze and Sunline as double winners. Just one behind Kingston Town.
Northerly has won.
Just one behind Kingston Town.
Northerly has won the best Cox Plate, and it was a decisive win.
And it was a fair Cox Plate.
Will you go to the Melbourne Cup on that?
Yet to be decided. I can't answer right now.
All right. Well done, Fred. Go and enjoy the moment. Fred Kersley there. I've got Steve McKee and Trevor.
Probably will be.
Right. Yep. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, she probably didn't relax well enough for herself today, you know, for her own good. Got up a bit keen, and Northerly tracked her all the way, and he's too good once again.
Just too close on the home turn, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he's, you know, he's too good at the moment.
All right, well done.
Under pressure at the 800-metre mark, he was flat as a tack, and yet he just keeps grinding away, and these aren't ordinary horses he's reeling in. He's reeling in the best horses, perhaps, in this part of the world. They are the best horses in this part of the world. He is just a freak.
Okay, placings going this way. Northerly first, Defire second. And here comes Patrick Payne aboard Northerly to the roars of the crowd. Third going...
Deliberately walked it back because I didn't want to take too much attention away from the winner, Northerly, a deserved winner. But, yeah, Sunline into the road, and the crowd were very appreciative, and I just wanted them to have the last look and acknowledge it.
And she did herself proud to the home turn, but could you sense Northerly was that close to you?
Yeah, I rode her how we wanted to, just keep putting the acid test on them, but she just didn't have the legs to get home. She still ran fourth, courageous effort, and a good training feat from the Mackeys.
There isn't a lot more you can say about Northerly. He's done it all. He's proved all the doubters wrong. He's rewritten all the rules. He actually doesn't behave by the accepted parameters. He does everything his own way. I mean, when she started to grind it out at about the 1,200 metre mark and then really poured on the pressure at the 800, I didn't think there was a horse could go with her, but he just kept chasing, and eventually he got to the front. And you know what happens when he gets to the front, Keith? He just does not stop.
He wins. Fred Kersley saying after the race that Northerly's wonderful trait is he wants to go to the races and he wants to get home first. And there he is doing it again. So my catching runs, Grandera in the Godolphin Blue was terrific, but he's the darling of Australia. This is her swan song. This is her last run, and she made our hearts flutter, but stalking her, it's a lovely and accurate phrase or word that you used there, Richard, because stalking her was Northerly, and the battle was brief. He really breezed past her in the best win of a career that has now netted him $7.8 million. Patrick
made my job a lot easier than what I expected.
Paddy got to the line after a very, very strong 2,000 metres there. He's coming back from 2,400. Can he step up to the 3,200 metres of a Melbourne Cup? Would you like to be on him in a Melbourne Cup?
Of course. I've always thought that he was, for the last couple of years, he was an ideal Melbourne Cup horse, but we'll just have to wait and see where his plans go.
Performance of Fred Kersley. It really has to be mentioned again, I feel, to get that horse to do what he has done. He's remained unbeaten this campaign. He's second Cox Plate, and the horse is
26 starts. 6-year-old. He hasn't been over-raced. He's had 26 starts. He's a horse that could just travel the world next year, and in that type of form, he could just put Australia on the map.
He's been invited to the Dubai World Cup. He was invited last year. He didn't go because he wanted to set him for the Cox Plate and the races he's won this spring. But I tell you, that horse could go to a World Cup on dirt and win it, because he's trained on dirt all the time. He's very comfortable on it, and he races that style. He gets up and he grinds away up on the pace. He could win a World Cup. He'd be the only Australian horse I've ever thought could win a World Cup.
There's a couple of good races on the turf over there as well, so he'd have a few options.
Yeah, he probably doesn't need to race on the turf. That's my point. He could go for the really big one, the World Cup race, which is on dirt.
Yep, I hope...
Was riding him, yeah.
So if you were the trainer, you would have given the ride to Damien Oliver?
If I was in the same position, I would have, yes.
What about that, Shadow?
He's so honest, isn't he?
Yeah, ran great. I felt like I had the best horse in the race. I just really could not handle the Moonee Valley track. He's never been, you know, in such a tight track, and he couldn't really get used to the bends and balance. And apart from that, he only got beaten a length. He ran a gallant race and Rolo in Hong Kong, and they should suit him a lot better.
Yeah, well, he settled back in the field, and they went pretty slow the first half, which made it difficult to make ground, but he worked home well. Probably Lonhro got half a length in front of him getting towards the bend, and he managed to beat him off, and he ran a nice fifth.
Yeah, he just must have started a little bit and got back in behind Fields of Omar, and half a mile from home when the pressure was applied, he sort of was under pressure a little bit and got onto the back of Grandera coming to the corner, and half expected to sort of lengthen a bit, but he just sort of didn't really find too much. So yeah, he tried his hardest and give as best as he could.
I thought Lonhro, Ronnie, was a little disappointing yesterday. I thought he'd get into the race at some stage, but really at no stage did he look like he was going to get into the race. He did miss the kick, and it's no disgrace to run 6th in the Cox Plate, but I was expecting more.
I thought Lonhro was extremely disappointing. He played up in the barrier, as Darren said, and then he decided to go back. But the way the race was run, the first 500 metres they had their rest, and they gradually increased the tempo. But still, he got in front of Fields of Omar and didn't finish his race off. Very, very disappointed with Lonhro. Defier's effort was unbelievable. He's more of a sit and sprint horse, but he tagged Northerly and toughed it out all the way. I thought he ran the 2,000 metres out very, very well, and I thought his effort was outstanding. Grandira, well, it's good for our racing to get him over here, and we can beat, we can beat their horses.
I thought he was outside of the winner, probably the best run in the race, Grandira. I thought if the track had been configured differently to Moonee Valley, a bigger track, if that race had been run at Flemington, I think he'd have rolled him over.
Yeah, he would have had to get past
when she came onto the track.
Oh, enormous. I mean, when Sunline walks onto the track, it's like when the heavyweight champion walks into the ring at a boxing match. You know, the crowd just go wild. They love it. But I think she lost the heavyweight belt yesterday. I think Northerly's wearing it well and truly now, because every time he's met her now, he's beaten her. She'll retire to stud, never having a victory over Northerly. So, you know, that's one thing that I suppose, if you want to call it, not even a black mark, it's just slightly brown mark on her fabulous record. But
pretty hard to put a black mark on it.
Exactly.
Look at the prize. Oh, yes. And of course,
it's drawn awkwardly, but it's a great race, this. I mean, it's the race for the second level horses. Even though Accelerator is a Group 1 winner, usually the race for the second level horses. And Weasel Will, there's no bigger track specialist than Weasel Will at the 1,600 metres at Moonee Valley.
And he's shooting for 3 Waterford Crystal miles in a row. There's the latest betting on tote figures. I can tell you on-course Accelerator is longer odds. Gordo is longer odds. He's the on-course favourite. Of the runners over the page, El Nino is shorter on course, so you're getting value on the tote. Same applies for Mr. Magoo. And note the race calling tower with Greg Miles.
It's indisposed. Righto, Brendan, first 3 locked away. Here's Atlanta. Mile. And they're ready and racing. Kiwi Burglar jumped okay with Mr. Casanova, and Atlanta's Prince got away well towards the inside. Royal Code jumped okay, but he's steadying early. Pace from outside. There's Dandy Kid going up, and Flavour Whiteout's going on as well. As they settle into stride, Crawley got right back in the field. And out towards the bottom turn now. And here they go with now taking 3 deep on the outside of Crawley, and then second last Gordo and Chattanooga. Round the 800 turn, Dandy Kid the leader. Flavour's second, Burglar back third. Atlantis Princess fourth and El Nino fifth and wide. Royal Code next with cover. Mr. Casanova being trailed then by Scenic Peak out wide still, and then Mr. Magoo. Weasel Will coming wide around him, and then Super Impressive Accelerator a long way back by the school, and Chattanooga started a run to go around him, and Gordo is still well back with Crawl now checked and last up to the turn, and Dandy Kid is being tackled by Royal Code out 3 wide, and El Nino the centre, but Royal Code has bolted to the lead. Here's Weasel Will. He's starting to close after the leader. Royal Code sprinted to the front round the turn. Weasel Will going for 3 straight is coming home well, and then Chattanooga and Accelerator. Royal Code under the whip. He's holding Weasel Will. Royal Code back to Moonee Valley. Blinkers back on and wins. Royal Code first. Weasel Will, I think, will hold second from Accelerator and Crawl, who flashed home, and then Gordo, who got up on the rails. Break then to Chattanooga, trailed by Flavour next, and then El Nino, Mr. Casanova, Super Impressive, Atlantis Prince, Mr. Magoo, Scenic Peak, Dandy Kid, and Burglar last.
Accelerator, Super Impressive, Gordo a long way back. El Nino going up to Dandy Kid, and Royal Code is starting to join in. Royal Code on the outside, race to El Nino when they turn for home. A length to old Weasel Will running home, and further back Chattanooga. The leader is Royal Code into the straight, a length in front of Weasel Will. Then Chattanooga, and down the outside Accelerator. Royal Code in front with about 80 or 90 metres to go. He's holding them. Crawl with a late run, but it's Royal Code. Royal Code by nearly 2 lengths in the run home. Second Weasel Will, the nose in front of Accelerator and Crawl. Gordo behind those, a gap to Chattanooga. A long way back then Flavour, followed by El Nino, Super Impressive, Mr. Casanova. Atlantis Prince.
And then we go from there to Gordo. Andrew Bensley with David Hall.
Yes, we're down here with David. We might be able to snare a quick word across here with a camera. Well done to you, mate. You've been certain.
Moonee Valley.
Better in the yard than I thought he looked in the Toorak. He looked like he'd sharpened up a bit with the Toorak run, and certainly was a class above those horses on the day yesterday. But Weasel Will, third straight. Would have been a third straight victory if he could have done it. He certainly did a good job. He ran into the second place there, and he didn't disgrace himself at all. But it was a track specialist finish there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think you knew they were serious when the blinkers went back on yesterday, and by geez, he travelled better than he's ever travelled before. A horse like this could run well in a McKinnon Stakes, you know.
Yep, that's the intent. We're watching Royal Code win now. At one stage, David Hall had some thought about starting him in the Cox Plate. He went for this option and it paid off. He's now looking forward to the McKinnon as the most likely option, because we'll have Sunline and Northerly and those out of the mix, so it won't be the same toughness as the Cox Plate Challenge for Royal Code. He loves
the best Melbourne Cup chance. Northerly will head home to Perth tomorrow instead of attempting to win the Spring's Triple Crown. The Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate winner worked impressively this morning, but it wasn't enough to convince trainer Fred Kersley to run him in the Cup carrying 60 kilos.
There's no doubt he could run in the Melbourne Cup. He's brought up very well. He's very well in himself. His work this morning is good, probably as good as it's ever been. But the big question is, should he run? And I can't convince myself of that.
But conservatism has much. It's strengthened the hold of Irish galloper Vinnie Rowe on Cup favouritism. The 5-year-old taking a major step in his preparation, travelling to Flemington for a vital gallop. Initially unhappy in the busy confines, settled and stretched out over 1,600 metres, comprehensively outworking a companion and earning high praise from the locals.
He worked brilliantly.
In the Dermot
days now, or the next few days, that he's bound to have lost a couple of kgs here this morning, and how quickly he puts that on between now and the weekend is very important.
Mark World echoing the sentiments of many toward Damien Oliver, who's bedside with his critically injured brother Jason in a Perth hospital.
These are only animals, it's only a horse race. You know, people are far more important. And Damien, being the person he is and the jockey he is far much more in our thoughts than anything else.
It's undecided if Oliver will ride at the Flemington Carnival.
Derby Day, Zip Zip Array, Karamazoo, Salgado and Tarcoola Midnight, 2, 6, 7 and 9 for our ratings, and they've made Zip Zip Array a special. Here's the market. Zip Zip Array's at $4.90, Palladium Star's well in commission, and so is Salgado number 7, so 2 stakes over 1,400 metres. At $4.70, so they've been the 3 in commission.
Ready. Racing. Mower Man began nicely near the inside. Palladium Star straight out the back, and Zip Zip Array is back there as well. Salgado's running about 4th last. Bakada works his way to the lead, and there's no speed on as they go to the 1,200. Bakada and Karamazoo leaving the 800-metre pole behind them. They're approaching the home turn, and the leader here, Mower Man, just in front of Bakada. I Rock My World is going up 3 deep on the outside to have a crack at them. Tarcoola Midnight just behind them. To Be Fair is on the rails. Savage Attackers in the centre. Karamazoo coming to the outside. Palladium Star is awkwardly placed. He's in traffic at the moment. He's going to need a little bit of a gap. And Gauchi's looking for room on Salgado. He's back last. They've got 350 metres to go. To Be Fair got a miracle run on the inside. Sprinted to the front. To Be Fair a length in front of Mower Man. Palladium Star is getting into the clear, chasing To Be Fair, but the bird may have flown. To Be Fair too clear of Palladium Star, and then Tarcoola Midnight. There's plenty of cheering, mostly from bookies, as a bolter wins the first. To Be Fair wins by 2 lengths. Palladium Star second, third maybe Salgado. Salgado and Tarcoola Midnight in a photo. Followed in by Mower Man, Savage Attack. Then I Rock My World.
Have a look at a run on the inside. Palladium Star's held up. Zip Zip Array's following through along the inside. And Tarcoola Midnight with a run out wider. Nearing the 200 metres now. And here To Be Fair with a run on the inside. At big odds hit the lead from Palladium Star. Tarcoola Midnight, the favourites are not in the hut. To Be Fair is well clear. To Be Fair from Palladium Star, and To Be Fair, Dan Nikolic beats Palladium Star. Tarcoola Midnight third, then Salgado and Mower Man.
Have a look at that, $104.60 to start the day. There hasn't been a favourite win on Derby Day since 1999. We've had 26 races since Falvalon won the L'Oreal at even money 3 years ago. And we've started with a 1
and 7. Number 10, To Be Fair, ridden by Danny Nikolic and trained by Graham Rogerson, got up at $104.60 in race 1 and $21.10 for the place. Derby Jack and Schwarzer, 2, 4, 6 and 1. Coming down the straight at Flemington, the first of 2 straight races, the other one's the Salinger. Early, Titanic Jack number 6 has come up the favourite at 3.10. He's got the inside gate, and El Capitan, who's also over on the inside. Well, it's 4.2 the track overall, 4.20. The inside penetrometer reading was 4.27. The outside penetrometer reading 4.31. But as is often the perhaps today.
They're away, and Planchet began fast, and they're going to come grandstand, a lot of them. Schwarzer away there quickly, is heading to the outside rail in front. Kersey just off the speed,
And in behind those horses is Tycoon Ruler. Blur coming up the middle. El Capitan on his far side. Titanic Jack is the deepest, and Cool Trent settling back in the field. At the 800-metre mark, and Schwazier showing all his dashes, the leader on the outside rail. He's in front of Planchet in the bright pink colours. Tycoon Ruler's right behind them. Koozie deeper out, Blur Capitan's in behind those horses, and so is Cool Trent. As they race down towards the 400-metre mark now, and Schwazier has company. Planchet's gone up to join him with Koozie. Blur 4 away from the rail, and Titanic Jack the widest is starting to come home, although he wants to roll about a bit. And then Cool Trent is getting over heels to mount his challenge, getting to the 200-metre mark. Schwazier had it narrowly. Blur's after him, and Planchet had to change courses. Schwazier starting to run off the track. Oh, he's hampered Blur badly. Schwazier in front of Blur and Planchet. Schwazier all over the track, but wins. Schwazier first, Planchet second, Blur third, Cool Trent fourth. We might hear more. Behind these are Koozie, Titanic Jack, wobbled all over the place. Then came El Capitan, and Tycoon Ruler is last to go over the line.
Here's the...
Titanic Jack giving a smack with a whip to get his mind on the job. They've got 400 metres left to go. Schwazier's just in front. He wants to get away from the rail. Plancher and Blur having a crack at him. Blur might have his nose in front of Schwazier. Schwazier's kicking again. He's running about badly. Oh, he went right out and went under the neck of Blur. Schwazier is in front as they draw to the line. He's going to win the money, but we'll hear more about that one. Schwazier first. Plancher out wide might get second. Blur will be third. No luck at all. Then Cool Trent and...
Stage in the light blue cap in the maroon colours. He's beaten the others by a big margin, but that's pretty severe interference that he's caused them. Carnage is probably a better word. Schwazier up to his old tricks and all over the place, as green as grass today. Anyway, he's won, and Glenn Boss is happy about it, but we'll just keep an ear out.
I should say, here's the head-on.
This horse is shying away from the crowd there, and he is completely knocked over Blur. Blur's had his entire race finished then. I think Planchet was probably going to nail Blur anyway for second place, but Schwazier there, he's very unpredictable. That's why he wears those pacifiers, because he is an unpredictable horse, and he has really created some havoc. I don't think there's enough here for a protest to be upheld. That's just my feeling.
So here's the...
But gee, he's erratic. When he learns to put it all together, Glenn, mate, he makes me look like a fool every time I ride him, you know. I mean, I can't tell you how hard he is to ride this horse. You just don't know what mood he's going to be in on each individual race day, so you just take him as he
wants to go with it. If he can get his head right, this horse is a Group 1 class horse. There's no doubt about that, but it's all in his head.
He was favoured for the Golden Slip at one stage. Quarter by a half length of the margin, so they're significant. A length and a quarter by half. So he's beaten Blur by a length and 3/4. The time was fast. It was 1:08.7.
I think when he knocked Blur over, the race was already won. And I don't think the stewards will take that one off him in the stewards' room. So anyone who's back...
Quinella 17, Exacta 32.30, and the new trifecta's $112.
Behind these are Schwazier, that highly talented horse that I've been following all spring and managed not to back him yesterday. Ended up getting over the line first, but gee, caused some interference in the last 20 metres or 40 metres of the race, and enough to get the protest upheld. Now here's Schwazier in the white cap. He's starting to lay in. Planchet's in the all cerise and has to be checked off his heels. And then the horse inside him that he's reaching now is Blur, and watch him take Blur out of the race. He really knocks Blur out of the race. Schwazier then goes on to win by officially a length and a quarter to Planchet, with Blur a half length, I think, away in third spot. And stewards there was naturally a protest straight away. Both second and third protested against the winner. Glenn Boss rode the winner and looked quite confident when he went into the room, as you would be. Length and a quarter the margin. They just don't give those protests. But they've managed to uphold this one, Keith.
It was a controversial protest hearing, and the talk of the track all day. There's Gleeson saying this morning that the interference had to affect the result of the race for stewards to uphold protests. Varied opinion on whether it did, Shadow.
Well, before we talk any further, let's hear what...
Well, it was certainly a difficult protest, Andrew. There was interference to Darren Gouchie's mount and quite severe interference to Stephen King's mount when Glenn Boss's horse Schwazier did shift in. The stewards then have to weigh up whether the interference suffered was greater than the margin between the two horses at the end of the race. Now, as I said, it was a difficult decision. We deliberated long and hard, and in the view of the stewards, the interference to Stephen King's mount was greater than the length and a quarter by half-length margin, and that protest was upheld, and we believe that the interference to Darren Gouchie's mount was also significant and did affect the result of the race, and hence both protests were upheld.
Well, I'm a great supporter of the stewards in Victoria. I think they make some very good decisions, particularly in protest, but I've got to say on this one, I think they erred. I think they made a mistake. I don't think there was any way that the protest that Blur placed against the winner Schwazi could have been upheld, but it was. I think the connections were even in the room saying, we thought we'd finish closer. I don't think they were even convinced they would have won the race. He was going past Blur so quickly when he interfered with him.
You're not trying to cover your comments made immediately after the race when you opened your big trap and said this will be dismissed?
Anyone who's watched a lot of races in Victoria and seen a lot of protests would have assumed that one would have been dismissed, and it wasn't dismissed. And I can't see, even watching the evidence, you couldn't listen to the evidence and support the case that Blur should have finished in front of what's his name? Planchet or Schwazi, and yet they've upheld that protest as well. Well, they have been...
And this next race at Flemington is the Saab Quality of 2,500 metres. It's a big field of stayers trying to get into the Cup. Freemason $8.60 and Spirit of Westbury is at $9.40, and then a bunch of them at double figure odds. We get down to Requiem, number 9, it's at $7.50. And right through to Bart Cummings' Hope. Miss Meliss, number 16, $5.80. She needs to run first or second in the Saab, the big 2-miler. To win the Melbourne Cup, 3 or 4 days coverage of these Flemington races today. However, we will be replaying all races shortly after they've been run.
Lost the race. Jazz here. He was favourite for the Melbourne Cup at one stage last year. There's Damien Oliver, who... through his manager yesterday, requested that we just thank everybody on behalf of his mum, Pat, and himself for the well wishes and the support they've had from both Australia and overseas. It's been overwhelming, and it's been great for the family in what has been a shocking week for them.
He's a wonderful young man. He's a great...
And racing, Spirit of Westbury jumping well towards the inside, and Pestham got away well. So did Native Jazz, and Don Arch easing back early. Firetain jumped all right. Pantani wide out. And the second Mortgage in the purple colours are prominent. And the New Zealand grey Armstrong's driving up to be on the pace. Requiem easing back, trying to slot in somewhere, still 3 deep. They leave the straight now, heading to the 2,100 metre mark. And Native Jazz by neck. Pantani is second. Armstrong is third. Spirit of Westbury enjoying a lovely trail fourth on the inside, and they're followed by the second Mortgage, Pestham. Over on the inside, Leicester Thunderwing, 1.5 lengths, then Requiem 3 wide all the way. He has some cover, though. Firetain Ledestina on his inside, 2 Miss Meliss. 3 Piace, the A-Train, Don Arch, and then Cyclades. Trailed by Little Miss Quick, giving them at least 12 lengths around the home turn, and then Freemason and Old Tawny. Into the straight, Native Jazz has had it all so far. He leads Armstrong. Spirit of Westbury gets to run away from the rail to come out and challenge these leading horses. Pantani next, but under a lot of pressure. Pestham pulls out for the run. Requiem's come wide, and Miss Melissa's coming right down the outside. At the 300 metre mark now, and Spirit of Westbury, Oliver going for home. He leads by 1.5 lengths now. Here comes Leicester Thunderwing. Requiem on the outside, and Miss Meliss for JB Cummings is starting to come home hard. Miss Meliss trying to get to Requiem. Requiem and Miss Meliss from Piace finishing on. Requiem is pulling everything out though. Strong to the line, and Requiem beats Miss Meliss. Piace third, Leicester Thunderwing 4. And then came Old Tawny, Cyclades, Ledestina, followed by Little Miss Quick, and she was followed by the A-Train, and then Pestham, who weakened. So did Spirit of Westbury. He stopped very badly.
They know.
Everyone's speaking Media Puzzle is a terrific hope in the Tooheys New Melbourne Cup, so your form through the Geelong Cup was pretty good going into this race.
Yes, it was. I mean, the reason we ran from barrier 20 was because I didn't think this was any stronger than the Geelong Cup, and the horse did a fabulous job, and you know, Media Puzzle beat us on our merits probably at Geelong, but you never know.
In the Cup. But Requiem number 9, Greg Childs, a strong staying performance. Tony McAvoy trains Requiem. Miss Meliss, Corey Brown second. Third to number 8, Piace Luke.
He's a very rare species. He's a 5-year-old Danehill that can run a trip. And you don't see many of them. Danehill doesn't get them when they get to that age that can run a decent journey. But this horse just ran it out brilliantly, Keith, and look, he'd be some lightweight chance in a Melbourne Cup, wouldn't he?
Well, he would. He's on the improve. Confirmation came through last night from the Hong Kong Jockey Club that Craig Williams had been given the extra day leave to ride Requiem in the Melbourne Cup. But the last time, bear this in mind, and don't forget it, the last time we saw Requiem on Sky was a replay of the Geelong Cup when he was in 3.3 lengths behind Media Puzzle.
And meets him on half-kilo better terms, but it won't be enough, will it?
I don't think so. And Bart, he's done it again. He's got a rep in the Cup. He's won 11 and... I don't know.
Time for a break. More up for fillies and mares. Perno's the top rater. Gentle Genius, Royal Perla and Hosanna, 3, 8, 15 and 1. A Group 2 race for fillies and mares. And we've got Hosanna coming up at $6.80. Miss Zoe, $9.60. This is weight for age this year too. Perno, $3 and Tickle Maya, $8.80. Don't be afraid to back those horses up there near the top of the saddle cloth numbers. They're the class mares, including Miss Zoe, who's going so well in Sydney. Now, right through to the others at Flemington, we've got Purple Groove, number 13, certainly worth a mention. Shaped up this scene under Craig Newitt. And there's Hosanna. She's a good mare. She's won 5 races and $700,000 in prize money. She has a win here at Flemington to her credit in the past. Hosanna's a mare by Octagonal. Purple Groove there, number 13 at $9.70. Nash Rawilla on board. And there's about 3 or 4 in line. A big field of 15 of them to face the starter in this. This race is followed by the Wakeful Stakes.
Breeze really blowing up here. This race, Group 2.
Racing. Coupe was one of the first to hit the ground. Reactive fast away. Hosanna showing good speed in the early part, popping in behind them, 4th or 5th. Going forward on the outside there is Royal Perla. She's dashing around them quickly, and she's going to take up the running as they well back off the pace with Tickle By. She's back to about 3rd last, then Gwendolyn. And Miss Zoe, the one that they put the money on, she's last of all. 750 metres to go. They're approaching the home turn. It's Platonic has moved up on the outside, and she's surged to the front now. She leads by a neck on Royal Perla. Perno's going beautifully, a length away 3rd. She's parked just off the speed. She's going to have the last shot at them in the straight. Romano Star is 4th on the outside. A length further back to Gold Lottie, starting to go forward. Coupe's over on the inside, and Hosanna is back behind a wall of horses with nowhere to go. They're stretched across the track with 300 metres to go. Here comes Perno on the outside. She's after Coupe. Coupe got the run on the rails. Perno's just in front of Coupe. Romano Star having a crack at them, and right down the outside with a blinder of a run, Miss Zoe from last to first, and she's landed the plonk. Miss Zoe first by an ever-widening 3 lengths on the line. Purple Groove got 2nd. Romano Star 3rd. By G, she flew home, Miss Zoe. Gentle Genius behind them. Perno had a chance. She didn't finish it off. Coupe, the next one over the line, then Royal Perla, Gentle Genius, Gwendolyn. Hosanna didn't feature today. Reactive, Hello Dolly. Keys one of the last time with Tickle By and Gold Lottie.
How good was that? She could win the Emirates next week on that run. The Group 1 on the final day. That was some sort of a run.
Platonic and Miss Zoe. Into the straight now at the 450. Royal Perla booting through again on the inside. Coming at her is Perno wider out with Romano Star. Coupe's going for the rails. And then Keys followed by Miss Zoe at the 250 metre mark. And Coupe railed through and hit the lead from Perno coming at her. Here's Miss Zoe. Miss Zoe right up the middle of the track. Swallows them all up. She races away the Sydney mare. It's all Miss Zoe and Justin Sheehan. She wins by 3. Purple Groove, Romano Star hit it together for 2nd and 3rd. Then Perno, who just wilted. Tickle My Keys and Gentle Genius next. And the
Cup. Les Bridge, her sectionals will be outstanding for the last half mile of that race.
Well, she's been doing that for about... She won the Emancipation Stakes in the same way, and the last 2 ones have been similar, so she's just one of those mares that's come good with time.
Did you think she got too far back? Because looking at the race, I thought she was a long way behind them.
No, I knew what he was going to do, and, well, she'd either going to come home or she wasn't, but I knew the way he was going to ride her, so I was actually happy.
Is that smile on your face because there was a big plonk in the ring? They put plenty on her. Any of it yours?
Well, just to win a nice race like this puts a smile on your face.
Les Bridge, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Justin Sheehan and Miss Zoe. Justin, you waited very hard to ride this mare, and she gave you a good feel, though, didn't she?
Yeah, mate. 3 fellows. Kenny Russell, Stephen Jackson and Jason Oliver. 3 champions that are no longer with us. 3 former jockeys, great friends. And may God rest their soul. I love them, and they helped me get down to the 55.5.
Terrific, mate. And she went back to last early, and gee, she done a terrific job in the straight just to pick them up.
Yeah, she's a good mare. Thorough. You know, all credit to Les, the trainer. He's a freak. And this is the third.
Miss Zoe, ridden by Justin Sheehan and trained by Les Bridge at Randwick. Purple Groove, ridden by Nash Rawilla. 11 Romano Star, ridden by Noel Callow. And officially fourth in the race was number 3 Perno, who just...
She has been an ultra-consistent mare for the whole of her career and capped it off with a win in that race, which I think is about the second biggest mares race we run in this country at the moment. So a great win for her. She was the medium of a substantial betting plunge, $10 to $6, and they knew what they were doing because she crushed them in the last 200 metres, Keith.
That was a field of 15 pretty talented mares, and look at the ease of the win. And Justin Sheehan, from what we've just heard from him and the effort he made to ride Miss Zoe, explains the jubilation that he showed when the Sydney mare got to the post. We thought she was pretty good. Her form suggested that, Darren Beedman, but we didn't think she was this good.
No, it's funny, you know, mares, once they start to get into winning form, they just seem to just keep winning. And she's winning with big weights, and she's at real claws, mile and a quarter. But I think they tried to make Miss Zoe stay, you know, to run a bit of a trip. But I think they've really found the key to her now. A mile, just ride quiet, bang, into the race.
Hey, Darren, would you like to...
He's been great, the horse. I think he's back to what he was like in Singapore when we took him there. And, you know, I think the favourite in it, Rubertano, he beat us a half head in the Newmarket, and we were giving him weight. So I think it's going to be a very interesting race.
Righto, talking about the Salinger later on, but and Jamila in the Wayful. I remember hearing Tony McAvoy about a month ago talking about Milanova after she won that listed race in Adelaide, and he thought that...
So can Hirogram do what hasn't been done for 3.5 years? Can a favourite salute on Derby Day in the Wakeful Stakes? Here's Wayne Wilson.
Racing Homecoming Queen near the inside, one of the first to get going fast, Make Me Strong. Hirogram was fast away, going to fourth in the early part, and Like Ginter Gold is showing speed on the outside, surging to the front. Just behind them then, the inside, they're at the 1,000. Bullabagazi is well back in the field with Milanova, then Soprano and Muscadet last of all. Coming up towards the home turn, 750 metres to go, and Unzipped is pouring on the pressure, slipped away to be 2 in front. In second place is Like Ginter Gold, followed by Just Fame. It's Houdini fourth, the outside. Homecoming Queen on the inside of Make Me Strong. Wonder Jamila deep on the bend. Hirogram is in the centre. Lash will peel to the outside once they hit the straight. They're in the straight now, 450 metres to go. Unzipped has still got a bit of a break, but she's coming back to them. Unzipped by 2. Into second place, it's Houdini, followed by Like Ginter Gold down the outside. Make Me Strong, Jamila. Lashed and Bullabagazi. Unzipped is going great guns. 200 metres to go. Unzipped 2 in front. Hirogram getting into the clear. Lashed and Bullabagazi on the outside. Unzipped in front. Hirogram, it's Houdini. Lashed, they're driving at it. This is going to be a beauty. They hit it. Oh, photo. Hirogram on the outside in a photo with it's Houdini. Unzipped is there. Homecoming Queen not far away. Lash was up there. Milanova just there. Followed by Soprano. Further back, Bullabagazi, and then Hale.
It's Houdini under the whip, and then Homecoming Queen held up, trying to get into clear. She's trying to work over heels. Make Me Strong's coming with a run. Hirogram's working home, and then Jamila and Lashed a fair way back. Haven't got Unzipped at the 200. 2 lengths in front. Hirogram sees daylight. Lashed and Bullabagazi are closing with it. Houdini. Unzipped with 100 to go. Very tired. They're closing. Hirogram lifting with it. Houdini. They come to the line. Hirogram, I think, a nose. Close up as it's Houdini, and Unzipped on the rail, who just folded the last little bit of the race. Homecoming Queen is close up there too, with Bullabagazi the outside, and Lash, then Milanova. They're followed in by Jamila.
Favourite will get it. Hirogram was never going to win in the last furlong, but Beedman and this filly have got home, and the drought for favourites has ended here after 29 races. Have a look. Hirogram gets up. What a go. What a race it was. Horses left.
It's a real game filly, this.
From the last few hops, over the roughie, number 12, it's Houdini. And 1 Lashed. Officially fourth was 8 Bullabagazi for first 4 players, and Unzipped.
Big step, I mean, you know. And a lot of those horses were reasonably unfancied. She's come out of restricted class racing only recently. I think the quality of the Wakeful field and perhaps the Oaks isn't as great as we've seen in recent years. Darren, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I suppose when they all finish like that, you'd have to sort of question, but I say, well, if you look at Lash, she had big wraps on her, and she didn't get beat that far. Dance's run was pretty good.
What did you like about that, Mr. Blake?
Sorry?
Fuji Dance, what did you like about her run?
She didn't have a really clear run in a straight and just was a bit impeded, and her run's been quite good.
She did run on well behind the place getter. She was right on their back.
The shock scratching of second favourite Platinum Scissors has seen Helena shortened to an odds-on favourite for tomorrow's Victoria Derby. And the $1.75 favourite could provide jockey Stephen King with the first leg of the Derby and Oaks double.
He's back to partner the next potential star of Australian racing, Helenas, in tomorrow's Derby.
Different action. Start round was very leggy. This horse is more professional. But in saying that, they're very similar mentally. They still do a few things wrong. He has got a great turn of foot, so that's a plus.
Whilst main rival...
And 8 here, 1, 9, 3 and 6. Helenas at $2.60. Doing a lot better than most of us thought you might. 7.10 Hydrometer. Masquerado at 14, General Minolta 37, 8 here 10, 27 Wild. For Davidoff, number 9 at $4.20, Diamond Jake 17, Sylvester at 12. Well, Sylvester was just about alongside Davidoff and experiencing similar problems. This fellow is by Zabul, he's a colt, and at the moment...
Jump reasonably, Grand Lover slow, Davidoff out quickly. And so too is Diamond Jake in the early part, down to the post, and settling into stride. Sylvester's gone back. Helenas has 4 behind him. Pace muddling early. Hydrometer moving up on the outside of Diamond Jake. Masquerado in the blue colours third. Davidoff slotting in 1 off on his outside. Their field makes its way to the 1200. Helenas, the favourite outside, ain't here. Then a length and a half further back in the field is Sylvester, Grand Lover and Wild Heart about to go for the gouch. Up the side, Hydrometer has dictated the terms in the Derby. Came up the side, nearing the bend, about a length clear from Davidoff second. General Minolta's now third outside, Diamond Jake. Serpentire flushed out, starts his run, then Masquerado. They're bunching now. Ain't Here's coming into it. Helena's easing wide to stay out of trouble as they've bunched right up. And then Sylvester, Wild Heart and Grand Lover. They swing around the turn. Hydrometer's been headed by Davidoff. Oliver going for home, looking for 2 straight derbies, and he's shot to the lead. Coming down the outside now, Diamond Jake. Here's Helenas letting loose with his run up the middle of the course. Hydrometer with a kick, though. At the 300, he led by a length and a half. Davidoff's under the whip. Here comes Helenas on the outside of Diamond Jake. Hydrometer at the 150 in front. Helenas, his big danger. Ain't Here stoking up late. Helenas getting to Hydrometer with 100 to go. Ain't Here lifting. Hydrometer kicks strongly. Hydrometer hits the line and might have just beaten Helenas. A photo finish, though. Ain't Here is third. Masquerado and then Diamond Jake. Next in, Davidoff wilted on the run. A break, General Minolta, and they are followed by Wild Heart. Then Serpentire, trailed by Sylvester, and Grand Lover is last. It's a photo finish.
Famous Flemington Straight in the Victoria Derby, and the leader Hydrometer. Now Damien's going on Davidoff. He's coming after him on the outside. They're clear of Diamond Jake, and right down the outside here comes Helenas. At the 250-metre point, Hydrometer's the leader. Helenas is going to him with every stride on the outside. Can he make it? He sticks his head out. He's after Hydrometer. Helenas and Hydrometer. Hydrometer's fighting on. Helenas trying to get to him. They hit it. Oh, photo finish. Little in it. Helenas dived right on the line, but he didn't get to Hydrometer. It's close. In third place, Ain't Here. Followed in by Masquerado, Diamond Jake, Davidoff. Next,
Stephen King on Helenas. They've hit it, and Helenas has got it. The favourites prevailed. Stephen King has won his second derby, and Leon Corson's has won his first, and he can't believe his luck. What a race. Well, we talked about the
run. I had a perfect run. Johnny was up to the horse then, and when I presented it to him, he took it. And I think he just got a bit lost.
Yeah. How far can he go, Steve, this bloke?
Oh, I think he's going to be a super horse, Johnny, but I'd like to just say one thing. Leon Corson's If you're there, mate, this one's for you. That's for Leon Cortez.
Agonising 30 seconds after the race, waiting for the number to go up, Leon?
Oh, yeah, my word it was. I thought we got beat. So,
did you really?
Yeah, I really did, yeah.
Had a lovely trail in transit, didn't he? But there was a surprise because the pace wasn't on that hard.
No, but, you know, he still rode him very good. We wanted to ride him that way back, regardless how the pace was, to just give him a chance to settle, and, oh, well, he's done the job.
How are the butterflies now?
Terrific.
When did your spirit start to rise in the race?
Oh, when he hit the front, I think about a furlong out, it started rising, but it dwindled towards the finish, I can tell you.
I said to you before the race, you've enjoyed some great moments in association with Bart. You've had some great moments yourself. This is the big one, though.
Oh, super, yeah, definitely.
Well done.
Thanks very much, Peter.
3 last hop over Hydrometer and Ain't Here and Spirit Thought 2 for trainer Leon McDonald, who prepared the runner-up Hydrometer. He was charged by...
Go on and win him. He got to the front and sort of stargaze a little bit, and, you know, he just got there.
Well, it was a slowly run derby. The finishing sectionals were sensational. 33.65, that's Oakley Plate timing, isn't it?
It is. He's a serious racehorse, this bloke. I think next time in we're going to see a great horse.
Do you feel he's a genuine stayer? Because a slowly run race and a sprint home like that, and the Victoria Derby doesn't always throw up a real stayer. Often a horse that's a good mile, 2,000 metre horse wins it.
Yeah, I just think maybe he was getting towards the end of his preparation, Richard, as you're aware. I mean, he's been up a while, and he's come a long way in a short time, so I would think that his preparation was getting towards the end, and Leon's done a great job to hold him up.
Sure. He ran out the 2,500 metres. The argument still rages on whether the race should be 2,500 metres or whether they should shorten it up to 2,000. What do you think about that, Stephen? Should it be a 2,000 metre race or 2,500?
Well, I suppose for 3-year-olds running 2,500, it's not easy. Possibly it would be more competitive at 2,000, maybe.
I think everyone in
Genuine stayer. She'll run very well.
McKinnon Stakes at Group 1, the second of the Group 1s today from Flemington. And Lonhro, not surprisingly, heads the ratings and is a clear-cut favourite from Royal Code, Distinctly Secret and Bedouin, 5, 7, 9 and 3. Lonhro dominates the market at $1.80. Dash for Cash for Rick Horlacey and Jim Cassidy. We'll be hearing from Rick shortly. $10 Distinctly Secret, and that's about it. Righto, Rick Horlacey being unplaced in the Cox Plate last week. Behind Northerly, he was beaten 7.3 lengths, ran 6 of 9. Prior to that, put up an outstanding...
And soon after the jump, Forest Jim first out. Royal Code got away well. Bedouin drives on. Lonhro up on the pace today. Venus Was Her Name is driving forward wide out, and Tally Thunder's not too far off them. Dash for Cash ridden away from the speed. As they go, Venus Was Her Name on top, heading out towards the 1,000 metre mark, and she's a length up on Bedouin, a length and a half Forest Jim. Tally Thunder the outside, and then Royal Code has enjoyed an easy trail. 5th on the inside from Lonhro, 2 lengths to Hale. Dash for Cash, Hill of Grace, Fantastic, and Distinctly Secret is last of all. At the 800 metres, Venus Was Her Name's going to corner about a length in front. Bedouin second, Forest Jim on the inside, and then Tally Thunder, 2 to Royal Code. Lonhro ready to go, and then Hale, Dash for Cash, Hill of Grace, Fantastic, and Distinctly Secret last of all. Coming around the home turn at the 500 metres now. Venus Was Her Name first for the judge from Bedouin. Tally Thunder wider out. Forest Jim going for a rouse run. The gap opens for Royal Code. Lonhro peels to the outside. Passing the 400 metres. Royal Code letting down with his run. Forest Jim got the rails run. Bedouin. Lonhro's coming at them. Dash for Cash having the last dip down the outside. 200 to go. Lonhro getting to Royal Code. Distinctly Secret running a race. 100 metres to go. Royal Code, Lonhro. Royal Code, Lonhro. Lonhro's driving hard and wins it. Lonhro's got there. Distinctly Secret flashes up on the inside. A mighty run, and Royal Code photo finished the minors. Then Dash for Cash. Forest Jim, Bedouin. Followed further back by Hale. Fantastic, Tally Thunder, Hill of Grace, and Venus Was Her Name.
Venus Was Her Name, given a little squeeze, a half length in front. Forest Jim getting up on the inside, coming to the outside is Bedouin. Beedman now bringing the favourite to the extreme outside. He's starting to wind up Lonhro, and Royal Code is going with him. The Bolter got the run on the inside and poked his nose in front. Forest Jim, Royal Code, Lonhro, and Dash for Cash is putting in a late run down the outside. Royal Code just in front of Lonhro, getting up on the inside. Distinctly Secret coming with a charge. Oh, Lonhro from Distinctly Secret, Royal Code and Dash for cash. Followed in by Better and Forest Jim. Next in Hay.
You know, he's very much like Dad. He always was. He's perhaps a little more short couple, but he's always been, you know, well, his dad's son, so there's no doubt about that.
Bit handier today?
Oh, it's a different race today. I mean, really, it's a consolation, you know, compared to, I mean, we'll take it, but, I mean, you know, they're not the elite horses today, but it's good to see him bounce back because, you know, he's sort of got a bit of a kick in the guts from last week, so it's just good to see the horse win more than anything, and it puts him back on his mount a little bit. I mean, he's a champion horse, and as I said, he'll be better in the autumn.
Finally, as he... Mark Wilson.
He is a high-quality thoroughbred. That was his third Group 1 win today.
He's a beautiful horse, and he deserves all his accolades. He's done very well. He's not 4 until December, which means he's carrying a 4-year-old's weight, and he's only 3 years old, and I think that says enough about him.
But the big story out of the McKinnon, Distinctly Secret, is the best chance to win the Tooheys New Melbourne Cup outside of the internationals.
And the price of Distinctly Secret pruned a couple of points for the Melbourne Cup. He's come from last to grab third in the McKinnon, which in recent years has been
Distinctly Secret, which was a...
In the McKinnon, which in recent years has been
Distinctly Secret, which was a great run, but look, it was a pretty blanket finish there, but in the end, weight for age horses win weight for age races, don't they?
Exactly, and he's got a great turn of foot, and they can get themselves into the right position at the right time of the race, and they dig deep. You know, he's a great horse, this horse.
You had enough on your mind in this driving finish, but we all noticed the orange colours there of Distinctly Secret, who ran that bottling Melbourne Cup trial. What would your opinion be of that as a Melbourne Cup perspective, that run in the race that you won?
Oh, I think he's the best of our locals.
Do you?
Yeah, Alfred's run was very good in the Caulfield Cup. And
that's if you consider him a local. He's actually an international. He comes from New Zealand. So,
oh, well.
Yeah, all right.
He's been here long enough anyway.
Fantastic was a good...
Shadow, that Distinctly Secret's the only survivor from the Caulfield Cup, or the best performance from the Caulfield Cup. The 3 place getters not running in the Melbourne Cup. It's a traditional guide. It's a big run that we've just seen. Yeah,
very true.
14, 10 and 3. Rubitano at 5.50. North Boy is the favourite, 4.50. Chong Tong 5.30. Down to Bomber Bill at 14. Century Kid 17. Intelligent Stars 17. Strategic Image at 19. Belle de Jour at 11. And
Prince Rubiton, and just a little bit of value elsewhere. Belle de Jour has been well supported late.
Thanks, Alf, and they are at the barrier and moving up now for the Salinger over the 1,200 metres down the straight to really nice odds now, six even.
Racing, North Boy jumped okay, and so did Bomber Bill over this side. Belle de Jour got away quickly with Lord Essex. They are splitting. Century Kid's coming this side in company with Empire and Phoenix Park. And La Zagaleta is towards the tail end of the grandstand division, which is now led by Century Kid ahead of North Boy. Over on the flat side, racing to the 800, Intelligent Star has raced to the lead. Cosmic Strike is going up to second outside Rubitano. Fuadi's handy on the rails, and then Chong Tong and Umrum. And Prince Rubiton is last of the horses down on the flat side. Going past the 600, looked to be the grandstand narrowly, I'd say. Century Kid in front there to North Boy. Phoenix Park, Bomber Bill right behind them from Belle de Jour. Empire's the widest runner in the orange colours from Lord Essex. Strategic Image trying to work into it, and La Zagaleta last on the other side. Intelligent Star passes the 300 by 2. Rubitano's chasing him, and then Cosmic Strike. This side here, Belle de Jour and Empire race up and go to the lead. There's little in these divisions. Rubitano has the flat side, well beaten. He's in front. It's the Newmarket winner, Rubitano, well clear. Rubitano first, Intelligent Star second, Cosmic Strike third. They all came on the flat. Empire beat them home on the grandstand ahead of Belle de Jour and Lord Essex, but they got swallowed up by the flat horses late. They were trailed in then by Umrum and Fuadi, Prince Rubiton. Chong Tong was next to finish, North Boy, Lord Essex, and they were trailed then by Strategic Image. Towards the end is Century Kid, Phoenix Park, and La Zagaleta with Bomber Bill also well back there.
Fuadi's there, just behind them Cosmic Strike, Prince Rubiton running on, and then Chong Tong to the grandstand side, and Dottori's riding hard on Century Kid, Belle de Jour and Empire. Phoenix Park, North Boy coming through, still hard to pick the actual leader. Rubitano on the inside might be in front. Rubitano shot away from Intelligent Star. He's home, Rubitano. He's a great 6 horse. Rubitano first, Intelligent Star second, Cosmic Cosmic Strike third. The inside's the fastest, followed in then by Fuadi. The next one home was Unrun Chong Tong.
I think he's broken the track record. He's run 1:7.1. Ori's Star had the record for years and years. That was then broken. I think he has run a track record here. The time on it, straight 6. He's the third horse only to win the Newmarket and the Salinger in the 1 year, and he's the first horse for 30 years to carry that weight and win this race. That is a great sprinter. We have seen something special here. Rubertano has blown them away. Brian Mayfield Smith won the race last year with Sedurka, and today, that was an outsider, but today he has won the race with an outstanding horse. Top weight with 57.5 in the 43 runnings of the Salinger. Only Century has carried that weight to success, and that was in 1973. This has had up the straight 6 over 100 years, but no one's run as fast as this. The wind probably in the right direction, but he's lumped 57.5 to win his 11th race from 18 starts. 4th was 15, that was Empire, and 12 Belle de Jour ran a good race. They were on the outside. There they are, Rubertano. Brian Mayfield Smith is such a great trainer.
He's a great straight track horse, but that's his best run up the straight, a record.
It is, and with plenty of weight. I mean, when he won the Newmarket, he only had the bottom weight, and today he's just brained him again with weight. And I guess, you know, he's starting to edge up into probably, you know, the, dare I say, a champion sprinter status.
Yeah, he's not far away. I spoke to you just before the race, and you weren't all that. You've ridden.
Yeah, Johnny. He just keeps improving, this bloke. You know, I couldn't believe. I thought last week he was going really good into that race. He's won the Group 2, the BMW at Caulfield, but I said to Brian during the week, he just seems to be getting better.
Nash, you know you stopped the clock at 1:07.
Smith will monitor the horse this weekend.
I've had a very good day. I think I've run in the vicinity of 300,000, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, Rubertano, you showed that the best until near last was fantastic. Tomorrow, of course, on the previous show.
For Intelligent Star and Cosmic Strike. Officially 4th for first 4 players was the Sydney Sprinter Empire, number 15. Quinella paid 35.50.
Stakes. He finished 0.1 of a second, 0.01 of a second outside the course record. So it was only 100th of a second outside the course record. Fantastic run. He blitzed them on the inside. The inside was the place to be, obviously. And a great straight horse and one of the best sprinters we've seen in many years.
And that suggests we pose a question to Darren. How did the track play yesterday, Darren?
It was. I think it's the best the track's ever raced on Derby Day. You know, like normally there's a bit of there has been a bias over in a big field, and you know, he's the best sprinter in Australia. And it wouldn't matter whether he was on the inside or the outside of this horse, he still would have won.
How do you rate him up against Spinning Hill?
Well,
You've forgotten about her, had you?
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Pretty good. And so too,
Darren. Combine Club normally run as the first race on Derby Day, but this year will wind up the program. Charlie Bub, the top raider from Delago, Brom, Stormy Sun, and Al Megdam, 7, 2, 6 and 9. Half Hennessy 15, Delago Brom 10, 9 even True Glow, Redwood Falls 29, Al Megdam at 6.40, Lord Volksrad 3.90, and big odds the remainder all the way down to Mummified for the Lee Freeman. So 6, 10, 9 and 3 from Alf on the Carbine Club.
If he continues on...
Hennessy kicked out. Racing. Great start too. Near the inside, Charlie Bubb beat them out, landed in front. Sir Craigley dropping back. Going forward, Disco Hips, and El Megdam is showing plenty of speed. And there goes Prosperous Bid on the outside. He's dashing. Megdam is next on the rails. Back two is Sir Craigley on the inside. Mummify is last of all. Redwood Falls third last, approaching the home turn. 600 metres left to go. Disco Hips and Civilino, they're the joint leaders. One away, third Prosperous Bid. Half Hennessy travelling strongly in the centre. Just behind them, El Megdam. He's in a little bit of traffic, looking for the way clear. And now Lord Volksrag is coming to the outside, and so too is Delago Brom. Plenty of chances, 300 metres to go. Delago Brom and Lord Volksrag, they're surging to the lead together. Delago Brom, the outside, got away from Lord Volksrag. He's a neck in front, Delago Brom. Lord Volksrag can't match it with him. He's home, I think. Coming strongly on the inside there is Charlie Bubb, but Delago Brom's too good. Delago Brom first, Vito second and third, Lord Volksrag or Charlie Bubb. Followed in by Mummify, the next one in, Sir Craigley, Stormy Sun, Natural Blitz. Half Hennessy, just Redwood Falls.
In the straight, Disco Hips, the leader from Zibolino, Half Hennessy. Lord Volksrad's coming at them in the green colours. Delago Brom starting to storm on the outside. They pass the 300. Lord Volksrad, but Delago Brom threatening strongly, and he soon after took the lead at the 200 metres. Lord Volksrad with a real fight in his hands. Delago Brom's about a half length in front. Charlie Bub flies late. Delago Brom's in front though under the whip. Holds on. Delago Brom beats Lord Volksrad or Charlie Bub. And then Mummify rattling home into fourth placing, followed by Natural Blitz, Sir Craigley,
Charlie Bub, and big run by the maiden performer Mummify's come from last on the home turn to grab fourth, trained by Lee Freeman, written by Darren.
What about that? 101,000 people on Derby Day, a day where in the end the stars came to the top. It was a day for the great horses, as it should be.
Yes, Charlie Bub, they're getting home with Darren Beedman in the saddle. But I tell you what, Delago Brom has been a good horse. His spring form dropped off a little bit. He did start with a blaze of glory in the spring, but he's picked it up again now. Darren, you're on Charlie Bub. Remember back, I think, 12 months, the Charlie Chops?
Yeah, next year it's going to be Charlie's Angels, mate. So
you ought to stay off the Charlies.
That's it. But I just kept peeling off the fence trying to get runs. They just never opened up, but I think you'll probably start for the autumn.
Yep. And just out wide there, a maiden Mummify running on from last in the race. He'll win a maiden nice and easily pretty soon.
Yeah. Stay with us because he knows these international competitors so well. What about Vinnie Rowe and also Media Puzzle? Michael?
Well, I'm a great fan of Vinnie Rowe, and he's a class act. He's without doubt the best steer in Europe. He got beaten in the Ascot Gold Cup, but that's 2.5 miles, and that's not his best distance.
What about his weight? Keith is concerned about his weight.
Well, all right, he is the top weight, but he's entitled to take that weight, you know. Obviously, Pujan on the Irish Ledger form is well in this race,
yep,
and has to be respected.
He's used to carrying that weight, isn't he, Vinnie Rowe? He's carried big weights before.
Yeah.
We're going to see Pujan and Vinnie Rowe.
More importantly, he's entitled to take this weight on his international classification.
This is Vinnie Rowe beating Pujan in the Irish St Ledger, but there is a significant turnaround in the weights. Was this a race that we should be taking note of, Michael, as a cup guide?
Of course, yeah. This is a very, very important race. I just feel that Dermot had this race in mind for Vinnie Rowe last year and decided against it. He probably felt he was too immature to make this long journey. And I think he's trained him with the Melbourne Cup in mind all year.
Just on Media Puzzle, Michael, a lot of the Europeans are quite surprised that he's one of the favourites here because he's not rated in the same class as the other European contenders.
Correct, but the point is he's proven that he's travelled really well. He's come here, he's adapted, he's obviously thriving, he's won well, his form was frank yesterday. He's got to be respected, but I'm not going to change my mind and get too excited about him, but he's in with a shot.
All right, on Tuesday next, Media Puzzle at $5, Vinnie Rowe $6.50, Distinctly Secret $7.50, Pujan $8, Beekeeper $10, then Rain Gauge, Miss Meliss into $6, Jardine's Lookout, Requiem. Now I've gone for a roughie, County Tyrone. Joe has gone for Vinnie Rowe. Gee, the international runners dominate here, don't they? Richard Friedman for Media Puzzle, Keats for Media Puzzle, Sir Michael Stout, Vinnie Rowe, Secret.
Defend the Melbourne Cup from the international invasion. At today's call of the card, Geelong trainer George Hanlon's two runners, Mr Prudent and Rain Gauge, were back to win more than $2.5 million, while the plunge horse was New Zealander Distinctly Secret.
When the big money came, punters were out to back the devil they know.
And we go to the George Hanlon trained Rain Gauge.
Mine's 100,000 here, Gary.
One of the country's biggest bookmakers, Mark Reid, who hadn't been to the call of the card in more than a decade, providing the highlights.
Do you want to back Distinctly Secret?
Win $1 million here, please, Gary.
Unloading on Distinctly Secret and George Hanlon's pair, Mr Prudent and Rain Gauge.
Next to Bart Cummings, I'd suggest that George Hanlon is the greatest trainer Australia's ever seen.
Not everyone was his 5-year-old.
Every day Vinnie Rowe just, picks up a little bit. He's still got a bit of weight to make up, but what we have, we have.
His owner, acclaimed film producer Jim Sheridan, a little more confident.
I have an instinct we'll do it. I don't know whether we'll do it this year or next, but we'll do it one of them.
And he's certainly got the attention of his competitors.
The scary part of it all is if you look at the international time form rating, you've got Media Puzzle, who's got a time form rating of 101, and you saw what he did to our stayers here. Vinnie Rowe's got a time form rating of 120. So that's how good a stayer Vinnie Rowe is.
Tony McAvoy will saddle up Requiem and Sandmason and is wary this could be a cup unlike any other, with the Europeans determined to run the locals off their legs with a strong pace through the middle stages.
I think you'll find all the internationals very forward in this race in the run, and because they won't be worried about running out the trip, whereas a lot of our horses are probably a query at the trip.
The record's pretty good, much better than the previous ones that come out here.
At the close of betting this afternoon, Media Puzzle retained favouritism at $6.50. Vinnie Rowe, the best odds he's been in months at $8 with Pugin. Jardine's lookout.
Keen is Tony on Media Puzzle to win the Cup this afternoon. He's made it his best bet of the day anywhere in Australia. And of course, Damien Oliver has been engaged to ride the Dermot well-trained Media Puzzle, which figures in the ratings with 100, along with stablemate Vinnie Rowe, and also Pugin has a 100 rating. Beekeeper, the Godolphin horse, rates with 97. 39 minutes away, the Melbourne Cup for 2002. Let's have a look at the latest betting. Vinnie Rowe, $7.70. Jardine's Lookout, $24.30. County Tyrone at $81. 52 Hale. Media Puzzle is the favourite at $6.10. 42 Mr. Prudent. Pentastic at $36. And the final page of betting for the Melbourne Cup, Prize Gem showing $61. 75 Victory Smile, Cyclades.
Distinctly Secret, Media Puzzle, but in particular Vinnie Rowe, and that what seems to be international money continues to pour in.
Yes, well, even though the flood of money's come for Vinnie Rowe, I'm still sticking with Pugin and Media Puzzle. I think they'll both beat him home.
Pugin has all...
Such a tragic incident, his jockey brother being killed during the week previous. And Damien Oliver, I think, will ride Media Puzzle. Sean Bartholomew agrees with me, and Graham Sampieri's gone for Beekeeper.
So, international...
As they move up for the Tui's new Melbourne Cup for 2002, and Media Puzzle continues to dominate the betting at $5.90, while his stablemate Vinnie Rowe is the second pick at around the $7 mark. Can Dermot...
Maybe Craig Williams.
Maybe Craig Williams, yeah. Let's hope he can come down.
Maybe Craig Williams.
Maybe Craig Williams, yeah. Let's hope he can come down. So,
Puzzle, the favourite, moving in. Damien Oliver, I'm sure, feeling very emotional and anxious. He's riding not only for Australia, but for his brother Jason Oliver this afternoon.
Racing! An almighty roar from the crowd. Freemason Miss Melissa going back. Requiem began nicely. County Tyrone was fast away. Dardia Poor began quickly. Thong Classic. Hatharana going forward with Sand Mason and Requiem on the outside. Beekeeper a little wide. They're linking up with the course proper. Sorting themselves out. Victory Smile just in front of Dardia Poor. Media Puzzle straight into a lovely trailing position. He is running third, just one off the rails. Cyclades is over on the inside. Sand Mason going up about 4 horses deep to take them on. Requiem is next, then Hatharana, County Tyrone. Pugin going to 6th on the outside. Frankie Dettori is jumping onto the heels of Hatharana. His stablemate is following forward. Next on the inside is Pentastic. Distinctly Secret, Mr. Prudent, followed by Thong Classic and Miss Miller. Past the 1400, and Sand Mason shows the way. Sand Mason taken on now by Hatharana. Hatharana surging to the front to lead by 3/4 of a length on Sand Mason. Pugin is now dropping into a beautiful trailing position. He's 2 lengths away in third spot, followed then by Helene Vitality getting a nice run, and Vinnie Rowe is right on the heels of Pugin. He's starting to follow forward behind him. Dahlia Poor is on the inside. Media Puzzle just seemed to lose his position a little bit. He's back behind Cyclades. Beekeeper coming to the outside. Victory Smile and Pentastic. Distinctly Secret has never been on the track. He's going wide, and so is Jardine's Lookout. They're approaching the home turn. 600 metres left to go in the Melbourne Cup. They're on the bend now. Hatharana's just in front. Vinnie Rowe's making a dash, and so is Media Puzzle. Here comes Damien on Media Puzzle. Vinnie Rowe and Media Puzzle. Beekeeper to the outside, putting in a great run. Distinctly Secret is next, followed then by Pentastic. Media Puzzle. Media Puzzle. Damien takes him to the lead with 200 metres to go, and he's shot away. Media Puzzle 3 lengths in front. This is the one that Damien's wanted. This is the one that he's riding for Jason. salutes the heavens. That's for Jason. It's Media Puzzle, the winner of the Melbourne Cup. Oh, a great go second and third. Beekeeper's there, Mr. Prudence there. Vinnie Rowe had his chance, then Fantastic, followed in by Distinctly Secret. The next one in was Freemason, Miss Melez, County Tyrone, Prize Gem, further back with Grey's Song, Jardine's Lookout. Further back came Thong Classic, Rain Gauge, Hale, and Dahlia Poor, or a few of these are pulling up a mile back. Victory Smile, Sand Mason, Helene Vitality. Fusion pulled up quickly with Requiem, and Hatharana, one of the last.
Rain Gauge racing is Sand Mason, and then Pugin. Vinnie Rose got up to fourth, followed by Dahlia Poor as they come to the home turn, and next is County Tyrone. Media Puzzle's working into it with a run round the outside, and Beekeeper's coming. Distinctly Secret off the track is making ground, and they're followed by Mr. Prudent as they swing the corner, and then Dahlia Poor. They come into the straight now, and Media Puzzle's gone up with Vinnie Rowe, and they share the lead around the home turn ahead of Hatharana, who's gone. Beekeeper runs on, so does Fantastic and Distinctly Secret, passing the 350-metre mark. Damien Oliver sends Media Puzzle to the lead ahead of Vinnie Rowe, who can't find, and back behind them is Beekeeper, Distinctly Secret, Fantastic, but Damien Oliver riding with the spirit of Jason, out by 3 on Media Puzzle. I think he's got the cup won. Beekeeper, Mr. Prudent are running on from Vinnie Rowe, but it's Media Puzzle clear, and Media Puzzle, Damien and Dermot have done it. Media Puzzle beats Mr. Prudent, Beekeeper, Vinnie Rowe 4, and then came Fantastic, Distinctly Secret, Jardine's Lookout, followed by Rain Gauge, Freemason, Miss at the last. It will be the most emotion-charged Melbourne Cup reception in history.
I bet.
142 runnings of the Cup. Has there been a better story? A more emotional one? See the breaches, Jason Oliver. Damien riding for his brother here. What a moment for Dermot World as well. He's done it again, Peter Donegan.
Dermot World, just asking about where Vinnie Rowe finished, but you know where Media Puzzle finished. Is it sweeter the second time around?
Yes, it is indeed. This was a wonderful day. I'm delighted for everybody concerned, my staff who've done such a wonderful job with this horse. And this was very special.
You're normally so calm and cool and collected, Dermot. We've seen that many times, but a bit of a shake-up at the moment.
Yeah, there's times, you know, these are special moments in life. These things happen. I was so thrilled turning for home to see my two horses fighting out a Melbourne Cup. You know, they've come 12,000 miles to do this. And just watching the rerun, Vinnie Rowe for a 4-year-old has run a wonderful race. I'm delighted for Mike Watt and Jim.
Europe would probably think, how could this horse win a Melbourne Cup? But his improvement since he's been here has been astronomical.
2 years ago, after he ran 4th in the English St. Leger, I said in the 4th enclosure to Mike Dillon of Ladbrokes that I'd win the Melbourne Cup with this horse. And in fact, he fractured his pelvis quite badly, stood in a box for 4.5 months, and we brought him back to today.
9 years ago, I congratulated you on internationalising the Melbourne Cup. I do it again. Dermot Weld, congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. My pleasure.
And a big one to Damien, this one meant a lot to you, didn't it, the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, it did, Johnny. It's going to be hard to keep this together.
I know it is, mate, but the Australia and the world's with you.
Yeah, mate. Melbourne Cups don't mean a thing to me anymore. I'd give it back right now to have my brother back.
Yeah, mate, we can understand that, but this was for him, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
It really was, and you know, you're a very close family, and today was something very, very special for you. It wasn't just the Melbourne Cup. It was everything about yourself and your family.
Well, yeah, the family's been through a hard time. All the family and friends have been so good. I mean, it's so tragic to lose someone in the family so young, and it just goes to show you should never take anything for granted, and, you know, always appreciate your loved ones.
They're like family to me, that family, the Olivers. We had Jason as an apprentice, and he was only 15 years of age, and he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his late brother, Jason. And to have to go to the funeral tomorrow after celebrating a Melbourne Cup tonight, I just can't imagine a more emotional moment in sport in this country.
He just tapped his breeches a moment ago just to show everybody that Jason's name on the breeches there. It was a fabulous run. The 1 second. Has there been a more emotional victory in the history of the great race?
Listen to that crowd.
And now the famous walk about to take place. Oh, well, there you go. Can happen to the great ones. couple of champions together. There's Mark World now, the son of Dermot, with Damien.
Yeah, turfed him a short time ago. Still feeling its oats after running a strong 3,200 metres. $6 and $2.40 for Media Puzzle. Mr. Prudent ran an enormous race, finishing second, $11.30, and Beekeeper for Godolphin running third, $3.
At the moment, though?
Yeah, it's hard to hold back the emotions, yeah, but we had a good run through the race. He probably got to the front much sooner than I wanted to, but he was just going so good. I just wanted to keep him out of trouble.
How did you stay focused all throughout the past few days?
It's been difficult, I must say. You know, it's been a tough time for the whole family, not only me. But you know, the perspective can be lost sometimes. You know, it's my brother who lost his life, and although it's been difficult for the whole family, you know, I give this back right now to have him back with us.
Absolutely. We spoke about your dad 7 years ago.
But I'm really happy I could win this today, and I'm sure everyone, the whole family back in Perth, will be really happy.
You had 20 million grandstand jockeys out there with you today. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks.
Ollie, stay with us just for a moment, can you, Dave?
Fantastic, had a terrific run. Distinctly Secret just failed to stay, ran well. Jardines Lookout, Rain Gauge, so 6th last year, 8th this year. Freemason, 9th in his 3rd cup. Miss Melissa did well to finish 10th. County Tyrone in the middle run back into 16th. So Clades, who was placed in 2 2-mile races this year. Pugin dropped right back, didn't he, for Frankie Dettori. Victory Smile 9th.
You know, I was writing in memory of my brother today, and, you know, it's tragic to lose someone so close to you so young. Couldn't get a win home for him today, but still got Tuesday, and, you know, it'll be hard to beat on Tuesday with me and my brother riding, hopefully.
Metre mark. Damien Oliver sends Media Puzzle to the lead ahead of Vinnie Rowe, who can't find. And back behind them is Beekeeper, Distinctly Secret, fantastic. But Damien Oliver riding with the spirit of Jason. Outfight 3 on Media Puzzle. I think he's got the cup won. Beekeeper, Mr. Prudent running on from Vinnie Rowe, but it's Media Puzzle clear. And Media Puzzle. Damien and Dermot have done it. Media Puzzle.
My brother Jason. I know you're up there, mate. And I couldn't have done it without you, buddy. So this one's for you. A life that was so fulfilled, yet still had so much more to give. You will never be forgotten, buddy. I love you.
Yes, the highs, we're just talking about all the highs of racing over the past week in this wonderful business that we're in, but that was a sad occasion indeed. And you and Lee went to the funeral?
Yes, we went over, and it was a lovely service, and Damien spoke beautifully. And, you know, very sad for Damien, his mother, Pat, and his man. You know, they lost Ray Oliver, Damien and Jason's father, and then had to bury Jason that day. So it was a very moving service, and, you know, I think everyone's proud of Damien, the way he handled himself, and the way, not only the way he rudely was, but in the euphoria of Damien's win. Let's not forget what a great effort it was of Dermot Wells, the 2nd time he's brought a horse across from the other side of the world and taken the Melbourne Cup home with him. He brought a wet tracker in Vinnie Rowe. He brought a dry tracker in Media Puzzle, and, gee, they went brilliantly.
And let's not forget George Hanlon, who had the 2nd place getter, the master of staying gallopers as far as training is concerned, Mr. Prudent. I've got to say too, Rich, you know, we've been very fortunate, the business we're in, to see the highs and lows of racing. I remember the day that I was reduced to tears is the day that Superimpose won his 4th metric mile. But I unashamedly cried there on Tuesday, just like about everyone else of the 100,000 odd people. It was just one extraordinary day, wasn't it?
If there can be a greater moment in sport in this country in the next 10 years, or been any in the last 10, then I'm yet to see it, Keith. I think it was one of the great moments in sport.
Yep, it was the most memorable, the most emotive moment in sport. I think we all cried. In fact, some race goers, especially the women, they bawled at Flemington with that fairy tale result that did put a little light into the grieving of the Oliver family. It was an unforgettable moment in sport.
Newspaper around Australia. There would have been one newspaper around Australia that didn't have Damien Oliver and Media Puzzle on the front page.
Nor the world. It was a worldwide story. Well, it should have been.
Okay, now let's move to Thursday. Record crowd of how many at Oaks Day?
103,000 people wagged work.
And it's some sights to behold, I'm told.
There were some, I'll tell you.
How lucky...
Group 1 VRC Crown Oaks in 22 minutes. Here's the opening call. Macedon Lady is a rating special. Melanova, Hyrogram and Lashed, 1, 8, 2 and 3. Macedon Lady's the winner of the 1,000 guineas at her last start. She's trained by John Simons, who speaks about the filly with...
Not a luck, but, you know, it's 2,500 metres, so we've got enough time to sort that out. So.
For the Oaks. And, of course, we're back at Flemington on Saturday with the final day of the carnival, and the Group 1 on Saturday is the Emirates Stakes. Now, the main ones in commission here are Macedon Lady. One that's good value on the tote is Soprana, number 5. It's $17 on the tote, but shorter on course as the last...
Racing. She missed it a half length or so, Macedon Lady. Melanova began nicely, Antique going forward. Hyrogram began nicely. She goes to the front of the post the first time. Hyrogram a length in front of Antique. It's Houdini going up 3 wide to 3rd. Bullavagazi 4th. Lash, Cassidy giving her a beautiful trail. She's 4th over on the inside. Metres left to go in the Crown Oaks. Hyro not that far off the Macedon Lady, giving them 8 lengths as they head up past the half mile. Desert Travellers next on the inside, followed by Make Me Strong, and then Shillang Unzipped and Soprano still last of all. Approaching the home turn, 650 metres to go. Hyrogram by a length on it, Houdini. 3rd is Antique, Bullavagazi 4th. Lash is about to peel out 4 wide to start her run. Unzipped is starting to go forward as well. Macedon Lady is into the clear now. She's moving up on the outside of Lash. She's putting in a big dash. They've got 400 metres to go. Hyrogram in front. Bullavagazi's a danger on the outside. Lash is trying hard to get to them. Antique is still there in the centre. Macedon Lady only plodding on the outside. Bullavagazi goes to the front, 200 metres out. Lash is coming after on the outside. Bullavagazi a half in front of Lash. Lash is trying hard. Bullavagazi's giving plenty. Bullavagazi's hanging on. Bullavagazi has won the Oaks. Bullavagazi first, Lash second. 3rd home, Antique 4th, Fuji Dancer. Then Macedon Lady, she failed to stay. Next in was Melanova, Hyrogram, Make Me Strong.
Turn into the straight, she's out by a length. It's Houdini. Bullavagazi runs on. Antique shoulders out of her pocket. Lash comes and Macedon Lady winds up down the outside. Hyrogram at the 300, tackled by Bullavagazi. Antique the centre. Lash is winding up down the outside. Macedon Lady's under the whip next. Bullavagazi clear. Lash is starting to stoke up strongly. Bullavagazi being tackled by Lash. Bullavagazi a half in front. Lash tries hard, but Bulla pulls it out. Bullavagazi beats Lash by half a length. Antique held 3rd. Fuji Dancer ahead away 4th. Macedon Lady...
And it's a great result for those that followed Sean in the betting ring. Bullavagazi told us at the start of the telecast, and he's been all the way through. Chris Muntz,
by Ron Quinton at Randwick and ridden by Chris Muntz. Lashed 2nd, Jim Cassidy. Antique was 3rd. Dan Nikolic and officially 4th in the Oaks.
It was a terrific thrill from them, and it should be remembered that the man speaking there, Ron Quinton, was 8 times Premier Jockey of New South Wales and rode 4 Golden Slipper winners. So a former champion jockey, and he's going to have a big future ahead as a trainer, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he's certainly got a knack when it comes to training fillies and mares.
Classic in 14, Spinning Hill and Planche equal top raters, Intelligent Star and Mystigic, 5, 7, 3 and 2. It's just a field of 7 lining up. The favourite is Spinning Hill, number 5. The mare is really sprinting well. Schwarzier, 450, the erratic Schwarzier. Let's see what he gets up to today. And Falbalon, the 3rd pick at 5.
I thought he was a little bit crooked his last start. He'd had an inoculation for an injection, and he wasn't at his best. So I think he can atone today. Sean Bartholomew's gone with Schwarzier, who's very unpredictable. Look out if you get up next to him and he turns an...
Emirates Classic. And this is a Group 2 race. The prize money on this one's $251,000. Spinning Hill, number 5, aiming to make it 4 on the trot this preparation after winning.
Spinning Hill from 3 began fairly well. Beldazur a touch slow. Felverdon out there with her in the early part. Now Schwazier began very quickly and he zooms up and takes the lead on the outside rail here ahead of. They pass the 800 metres and coming up here the leader is Schwazier, narrowly ahead of Intelligent Star, who's behind it. Felverdon wider out. They're followed then by Planchet. Next Spinning Hill's going to come up the middle of the track. Beldazur's just behind her and then Mystegic. Coming to the 400, the 3-year-old Schwazier had the lead narrowly from Felverdon. Wide out Spinning Hill starting to work home nicely. Beldazur's eased over her heels now. They come to the 200 metres and Schwazier under extreme pressure. After him Felverdon, Beldazur and Spinning Hill. Schwazier narrowly. Felverdon digging deep and coming hard. Schwazier, Felverdon. Felverdon's put his head in front of Schwazier. Schwazier came again. Schwazier's come again and might have beaten Felverdon in a photo. Beldazur or Spinning Hill for third, close there. And they were well clear then to Planchet, Mystegic and Intelligent Star.
Following up behind her, Beldazur. They've got 350 metres left to go. Schwazier in front. He's working on Felverdon now. Spinning Hill now. He puts his foot flat to the floor, but they're struggling to get to Schwazier at the moment. Felverdon, the great champion, knuckles down to the task. Felverdon, Schwazier. Felverdon, Schwazier. Oh, Felverdon ran out badly. Schwazier wins it. Schwazier has beaten Felverdon. Felverdon threw it away. Spinning Hill or Beldazur and a photo for third. Then Planchet, Mystegic and Intelligence.
And what irony, I think Schwazier wins the race because Felverdon did what Schwazier did on Saturday. Had the race won. Alan Russell has won 6 races on Felverdon. The last time I think he rode it was when he won the L'Oreal here in 1999, so he's reunited today, and yet I don't think he's been able to get there, and Schwazier's won it. Glenn Voss, there'll be no protest today. Schwazier, well, how bittersweet for the connections here. The 200,000...
You think Felverdon did he try to cut the corner, as Richard just said?
He just watching it there, Peter. He looked that way too. He looked like he ran right away, yeah.
Anyway, back to your bloke, and you're in the winner's circle where you thought you probably should have been on Saturday.
Yeah, mate, yeah. But, you know, I suppose got to be happy he's won today anyway.
Good effort to back up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in 6 months he'd be a darn nice horse, Peter. Yeah, he'd be one of the coming sprinters, I think.
And he went straight today.
He lost one of the big ones at the weekend, and he's come back today on and beat the best sprinters in the land. Glenn, how good is this horse?
Oh, well, I mean, I've never wavered in my opinion of this horse. I thought he's one of the best 3-year-olds in Australia. He's just his own worst enemy, you know. But all the credit goes to Paul Perry. I mean, he's never wavered in his opinion and his faith in this horse. And, you know, I really appreciate the owner sticking with me too, because, you know, he's been beaten a few times and losing that race today, you think they get a bit despondent and, you know, want to change, but they've stuck solid and you can't believe what that means to me.
Now, Glenn, you were ready for... The quick back-up probably helped him because he was a relaxed horse today. You know, he's a superstar, this horse. I tell you, he should have a lot more wins beside his name, including one last weekend. So, Glenn, you know...
He crept out a little bit with about 100 metres to go, but he hasn't really caused any severe interference today, Schwazier. However, Felverdon looks like he has, so you wouldn't believe it. In the space of 5 days, we could have...
Numbers there are 8, 3, 4 and 7. As we check them out here, let's have a look. This should be pretty open, as a lot of the races are there today. And the Matriarch Stakes at Group 3 for the mares has Tickle My. Well, she's a very good mare on a day. 9.30 for Terra Nora, drawn a little wide. 15s for Yakama, and the Little Miss Quick Keys second elect. There's the support for Early Bird, as Alf reported.
Just to start towards the outside, and Self-Interest first to bound out from Serious Drink. Tickle My right on the pace in the early stages. Damasceno, Gold Lottie go on, and Early Bird, Peladamo settle just off them. As they settle fully now to the seat at the 1,000 metres. 2 lengths per side to approach the turn, and Serious Drink the leader. Gold Lottie is second, Self-Interest is third. Damasceno is a half length away fourth. Then Early Bird on the inside from Tickle My. Keys is out wider next from Peladamo as they neared the bend, and then came Venus Was Her Name. Little Miss Quick and pulling to the outside. Yakama starting a run. Terranor is well back and held up as they swing the corner, and then maybe Arch. Bunching at the bend, Serious Drink, joined by Gold Lottie, Damasceno. Tickle My under the whip wider out, and then Key. Self-Interest trying to work clear. Next is Early Bird trying to work into the clear now, but it's held up at the moment. Down the outside comes Little Miss Quick. Damasceno at the 300 moved up to Gold Lottie. Peladama's next, and then Keys, followed by Venus Was Her Name and Terranora. Damasceno in front with 120 metres to go from Gold Lottie, Tickle My, Terranora and Little Miss Quick coming the outside. Damasceno in front. Little Miss Quick drives late, but Damasceno beats Little Miss Quick by 3/4. Terranora, I think, will grab third. Then Venus Was Her Name the outside. Tickle My and Gold Lottie close up, followed in by Yakama, Maybe Arch, Peladama, Lady Melroy. They were trailed further back then by...
Sides, $12.60 and $5. Little Miss Quick getting second, and Terranora, who was probably the unlucky runner there, getting third.
Richard, she got pushed onto the fence, and the inside of the track on Cox Plate Day wasn't the place to be. And she just didn't appreciate getting laid on from about the half mile, and when I wanted to go forward I couldn't, where yesterday I had a lovely run just in behind the leaders, and she settled quite well. And if you can see, she just on the replay there, she's a little bit one-paced, but very strong one-paced, if you know what I mean. Like, she hasn't got a great sprint on her, but she's very strong at holding her sustained run for about 400 metres, and that's what she was able to do yesterday.
Nice relief. There's the ratings, and the rating special is Vesda over Accelerator, Royal Code and Gordo, and number 16, the New Zealander, has come up as a rating special. It's at $3 at the moment, Accelerator, and parades well prior to the big one of the day. The Group 1, and over $500,000 in prize money here. Now let's have a quick look at some of them.
The favourite? I am going to go with Crawl from the John Hawkes stable. I think Crawl's working up to a win. He's a high-class horse, doesn't win too often, and I think he's sort of heading there. Sean Bartholomew, who's having a great day, I think, out there, has tipped Accelerator, and why not?
Second elect, 8-10 about Gordo, or Crawl given a chance at 10s, Weasel Will and Scenic Peak, and then you go right down there to Mr. Lofty at 15, 13 Purple
Start running third behind Royal.
He's not the worst chance.
Yeah, as they move in pretty well. Accelerator still $3. Royal Code, and then Gordo very good.
And Scenic Peak jumped well on the inside, and so did Accelerator out fast as Vesda trying to find the lead. Strategic Image was away very quickly, and so was El Nino. And there's Old Umrum from the outside barrier driving towards the leaders. Zvezda had the front. Umrum strode up and sat a neck away second. Scenic Peak is third. El Nino is fourth. The Big Ask is last of all. By the 1,000, it's fast runs. Vesda had the lead to Umrum. Scenic Peak tucked in third. El Nino fourth. 2.5 Accelerator, 50 inside, followed by Strategic Image. 3 lengths to Weasel Will, and then Purple Groove, followed by Gordo outside Hosanna. Next, Paris Heartbeat, very wide around Royal Code, Kabila, Crawl, and then Mr. Lofty, and 2 to the Big Ask. Zvezda came round the turn in the Emirates at the 600, leads by almost a length now to Umrum, Scenic Peak, and then Strategic Image. Accelerator trying to work away from the rails, and then Weasel Will. Gordo pulled to the outside as they flatten for home now, and Royal Code is still well back at the 400s. Zvezda about a length in front from Scenic Peak, getting through to challenge now. El Nino's coming with a run, and so too is Strategic Image down the outside, and Gordo's coming from Purple Groove. Accelerator had to hook over their heels. Scenic Peak led narrowly. Strong Strategic Image coming down the outside, but Scenic Peak is well clear. Crawl flashes home late, but Scenic Peak beat Crawl second, Accelerator third, and then Purple Groove, Strategic Image, followed by Gordo, Royal Code, El Nino, and then came Mr. Lofty, and they were followed then by Weasel Will. Further back was Hosanna. Zvezda folded up in the last 150, and then the Big Ask, followed further back by Umrum and Paris Heartbeat. And
Nino fought the outside, then Strategic Image. Accelerator in a little bit of traffic. Jim will try and work him away from the rails. He's easing him off the fence, but he's having trouble at the moment. Weasel Will coming to the outside. Gordo's putting in a bit of a run. They're in the straight, 350 metres to go. Zvezda in front. El Nino getting into the clear. Accelerator still in traffic. He can't get a go at them. Scenic Peak's dashed up to go to the lead. Scenic Peak in front of El Nino. Strategic Image. Accelerator getting into the clear late. Crawl flashing down the outside. Scenic Peak's in front. He's going to get home for Queensland. Crawl coming after him, but Scenic Peak's too good. Scenic Peak first. Crawl second. Accelerator third. Followed in by Purple Groove. Royal Code in that bunch, then Mr. Lofty.
Record here, 1:33.4 is the unofficial time. That breaks Vo Rogue and Jolly Old Mac's track record of 1:34. So we've never had a faster mile or 1,600 metres to be exact here. Scenic Peak was
some consolation for Thursday, Danny. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. It was, a very good win. Had a good alley, perfect ride, and the horse was, spot on today. He just didn't handle Moonee Valley that well, and he slipped track. Flemington, he's had 4 runs here now for 3 wins, and only defeat was on a softish track. So, Flemington's definitely his track in Melbourne.
And of course,
half a second off Jolly Old Mac.
Was relegated into 4th spot after running a very close second in the 2-rack, beaten by Shot of Thunder. Disappointed next start, but right back to its brilliant best today. And Scenic Peak.
They broke the record. They ran 1:33.49. That broke Vo Rogue's record, and that was also held by Jolly Old Mac. It stood for quite some time, so it was a brilliant run and a brilliant ride from Danny Nikolic. Danny, you sat up on the pace in that sort of race where they did run record time. Were you ever worried that you might have been a little too close to the pace?
Well, Richard, the pace was solid, and the time tells you that, but he surprised me, the horse, how well he travelled during the race. If you actually have a good look at the replay, he's one of the last horses to come off the bridle, so he was very strong and very tough through running those sectionals yesterday.
He loves Flemington too, doesn't he? 4 times to the track, 3 wins, and probably that early pace with
Stakes. And let's get the late mail from Alf Matthews.
The Queen Elizabeth Stakes, Group 2 on the card here, the 8th event at Flemington. Number 12, Inclusion.
Horse has trained on good since.
Okay, good luck to Gerald there. They're at the start. They'll move in shortly for the running of the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Late mail, Inclusion at $12. A Makybe Diva, a lot of eyes on this mare to see if she can continue her winning ways. She should almost be undefeated. She was unlucky in the first start. She was beaten, but 6 starts, 5 wins. And this mare by Desert King steps right up to the grade today.
Makybe Diva jumped well towards the outside with Native Jazz, and Time Off is going forward. Southern Crown boots up. So does Inclusion, whilst Danyon has dropped out to be towards the tail end of the field. Southern Crown led from Time Off and Inclusion as they leave the straight. Hill of Grace just behind them in 4th placing, 1.5 lengths, then Hey Pronto on the right. Prince Hal, they're followed then by Makybe Diva. She's about 3rd last, and then Leicester Thunderwing and Old Tawny. They're winding it up, coming up towards the turn, and Time Off the leader at the 800. Time Off in front of Inclusion. Native Jazz. Hey Pronto right behind them. He's had a cosy run on the inside. He's 4th coming towards the turn. They're followed then by the Grey Eagle Rhythm around the outside of Southern Crown. Then Hill of Grace. Danyon on the fence as they cornered. Spirit of Westbury's coming wide. Into the straight now. Time Off being joined by Inclusion. Hey Pronto looking for the way clear. He's going for a run on the inside here. Wider out as Native Jazz, Eagle Rhythm and Spirit of Westbury, and then Southern Crown. Hey Pronto's got the run now, and he's sprinted hard, and at the 300-metre mark has gone to the lead. Spirit of Westbury winds up. Here comes Makybe Diva from well back. She's starting to wind into her work. Hey Pronto under the whip. Spirit of Westbury's claimed him at the 100. He's hit the front. Kicking back as Time Off, Spirit of Westbury, and here's Makybe Diva. Knows where the post is. Grabbed them right on the wire. Makybe Diva's got there in the last couple of bounds from either Spirit of Westbury or Time Off. Hey Pronto just wilting on the fence. And then came Danyon, Southern Crown, followed further back by as Old Tawny, Eagle Rhythm. Hill of Grace towards the end with Inclusion, and Leicester Thunderwing never came into the race.
Oh, she's a great mare, isn't she? Makybe Diva, and that's her 7th race start, 6th win. And David Hall, congratulations. He's done a marvellous job with this mare by Desert King. Luke Curry, a terrific ride again by Luke. Just timed the run.
Which is the all-time record. We've had 3 record crowds, Derby Day Open.
Years ago, went okay, but what about this horse for the future, Makybe Diva?
Yeah, it wasn't Zappor's first preparation, Andrew, so... Look, she's an import just as he was, and she hits the line with the same sort of gusto. I mean, he was a horse that really put his head out with a lot of determination, and, you know, her last 2 runs now that she knows what she's doing and she's racing at the level she is, it's good to see that sort of thing in a racehorse. It's good to see her do it today.
Has she promised you this along the...
Every time we did something with her, she got a bit better, and, you know, once she really started to learn how to gallop properly and had a couple of trials and went to the races, I mean, she just improved each time.
Yeah, she's a beautiful mare. She's only had the 7 runs for 6 wins. Now, she's bred to Northern Hemisphere time, which means she's listed as a 4-year-old in this country, but she's actually only 3. And to be able to carry the weight she did and beat older horses as a 3-year-old, coming off the back, improving each run, going from a maiden class basically all the way through to group class at Flemington during the carnival, that's a fantastic effort. She's the first horse qualified for next year's Melbourne Cup, fully qualified now. And I tell you what, Keith, I don't think I've seen a better prospect than this for a long time.
This is an amazing story. We're watching Makybe Diva on the outside in the predominantly blue colours. She won that maiden race, Richard, at Wangaratta on the 13th of August. There she is winning a Group 2 race. Unusually named. She's named after the office staff of the owner, and their names are Marie, Kylie, Belinda, Diane and Vanessa, hence the Makybe Diva. But she's going to be there. She's unbelievably progressive. Better than Helena's, really, I suppose, Dan?
I don't know whether she's better than Helena's, but she's definitely on the way out there. She's any mare that can keep finding the line like she is, and very lightly raced, first preparation, looks like she's going to be a force to be reckoned with these big staying races.
Yes, this mare and the Derby winner, Helena's, two amazing stories. Shadow from obscurity only a matter of weeks ago to group success.
Did you say 6 from 7, is it now? Or
this mare, Richie, she can handle any type of ground too. She's run on slow ground and she handled the fairly firm ground there at Flemington too, so she's pretty promising.
Well, racing action there, Wayne. Break, of course, that was just about it as far as the VRC Carnival of Racing is concerned. You got some statistics on crowds?
Crowd for the VRC Carnival was incredible again. They broke the record. They got 355,293 people through the gates over the 4 days. That's a new record. They had to get 42,700, I think it was, on the last day. They ended up getting 47,000 people on the last day, so they well and truly broke that record. Interesting.